session. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to F1 Tonight UK. And joining me in the commentary box this evening is Guido Buddha Erschen. Good evening, Guido.
Good evening.
How are you this evening,
again.
sir? Yeah.
It finally worked.
It finally worked, yeah. A bit of apologies for the slight technical there at the beginning. But yeah, we are indeed underway. So we are here at the... where are we, Guido? We're at the Hockenhimring, aren't we?
Hockenheim, yeah. Hockenheim. Beers and bratties.
Yeah, that's the
say.
one. Beers and bratties, that's the one, the Hockenhimring, and a nice little shot there of the hairpin, actually. That's turn 13, the Sachs turn in Sector 3. But let's have a look at the championship as it stands at this moment in time. Well, leading the way is Lee Pratt on 210 championship points. What a lead he has got, because if we look at second place, Sean Street, he's on 119. 91 points is the difference at this moment in time. In third place is Sean Street for McLaren on 118 points, stays where he was. Lee Pratt remains in fourth for Ferrari on 62 points. In fifth is up 3, Thomas Cook for Alfa Romeo. In 6 is Callum White, up 4 for Red Bull. In 7, Josh Diggles drops down 2 for Rocket Williams. In 8 is Ryan Lear, down 1 from 7 for Haas. In 9 is Chris Knight, down 3 from 6 for Alfa Romeo. And in 10 is Jake Sorrell, down 1 from last week, from 9 to 10. In P11, remaining where he is Adrian Rich. Jack Wilson, his teammate, is up 2 to 12. So Renault in 11 and 12. 13 is Tony Foster, remains where he was. In 14, down 1 is Ross Milburn for Racing Point. In 15 is Jamie Good, remaining in his position for Toro Rosso. In 16 is Matt Goodyear for Mercedes, remaining in 16. 17 is Cameron Widdowson. In 18, up 1 is Ryan Doran for Haas. 19, down 1 is Richard Williams for Toro Rosso. And bringing up the rear at the moment, the rookie driver of Zach Dejan, who put in a fantastic show last week, but unfortunately DNF'd. Guido, I mean, having a look at, obviously, the drivers, the positions in the championship, Clearly, Dylan is just romping away at the moment. We're halfway through. This is the halfway race, effectively, of the season. He's got 91 championship points, but anything can happen. Anything can happen. You know, he's got that lead now.
Last week, Sean Street coming up, and you know that does a lot for his points. He's second on the podium last week. Yeah. So that brings a lot of points, and he goes up there. You know, he can still. Phil.
That gap is the gap is vast, but Phil Harris is a very, very competent driver. All it takes is, you know, a couple of issues, and then all of a sudden, you know, Phil and Sean are going to be on his heels. So he can't really rest on his laurels, even though he's got that 91-point lead at this moment in time, can he?
No, you definitely shouldn't. It only takes 2 DNFs, and you're you know, you're far away.
Yeah. So, yeah, very true. And then if we have a look at the places from 4 to 9, I mean, you know, 6 places there, but they're so tight. 47 points to, you know, 47 points to 62 points. That's nothing. I mean, you know, that's what, 15 points.
I think we've said it for a couple of races now. You know, this midfield. This is incredible. It stays so close, and that's where the action is going to be. That's where the points are going to be crucial for these guys to get up there. So I'm looking forward to see that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I couldn't agree more on that, Guido. It is absolutely incredible the way it's going at this moment in time. Let's have a look how that obviously reflects on the Constructors' Championship. So leading the way at this moment in time is Red Bull on 266 Constructors' points. Ferrari are second on 181, so just shy of 80 points separating them there. McLaren third on 144. Alfa Romeo are fourth on 103, and fifth are Rocket Williams on 75. In sixth are Haas, up one from 7 with 67 points. Down one from 6 are Racing Point with 66 points. Renault are on 60 in 8. 9 is Toro Rosso, and 10 is Mercedes. And again, we can see that midfield battle being very strongly reflected here in that, 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th place. Very, very tight again in the Constructors, especially in the Constructors, because obviously you accumulate the points from both drivers on that.
Yeah, exactly. You see the 266 points last race. Callum White got into 3rd place, brings the extra points to the game, and just skyrocketing up Red Bull even further up the list.
Yeah,
and that's what you need. Your secondary drivers, you need to score those points.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Couldn't agree more. Very, very close there. Let's now move on to the track itself, the Hockenhimring here in, unsurprisingly, Hockenheim in Germany. Guido, this is a track that you either love or hate, I've got to say. I'm not a great lover of it because I haven't perfected it. Let's put it like that. I'm okay in Sector 1. Sector 2, but as soon as you're coming towards the end of Sector 2, out of Turn 7 and into Turn 8, and then you go into that 3rd sector, it's so tricky. But I mean, let's have a look at those sectors. So, first, obviously, the circuit length, 2.84 miles is the length, total race length 194 miles, and we're looking at 67 laps. Sector 1 takes us around Turn 1, the Nord curve, into that hard right 2, and then that sort of little chicane, or the long chicane, effectively, of 3 and 4. We'll come on to the DRS. Obviously, we've got the DRS on the exit of 1 down into 2, but it's a pretty straightforward sector. But obviously, when you've got the high speed and coming into that Nord curve to brake and then reduce the speed, and then you've got that tricky long chicane of 3 and 4, it's a tricky track, and it starts straight away in that Sector 1, doesn't it, basically?
Sector 1, corner 1, that's going to be the penalty puller. I don't know if you're going to say that, but
yeah,
because everybody really wants to get some speed from the long straight into the second straight part. But because we're driving on strict, these are the most realistic settings, and it's going to be so tight. You get your wheels a little bit over the curb, and it's done. You're going to get a penalty. You're going to get a warning. And obviously, when they start...
We saw it in the real world, though, last season, didn't we? Because obviously they had wet conditions, or damp conditions, certainly. And we saw so many cars go out in that Turn 1, didn't we? And cars we didn't expect. Mercedes, for starters.
Yeah. That was a great. Yeah. I saw a lot of compilations of that with Benny Hill music under it.
It was a celebration for Mercedes, but also I've got to say, at the end of the day,
celebrated.
It wasn't a celebration; it was a commiseration. Sector 2 takes us round that long Turn 5 of Parabolica, leading down to that hard right hairpin of Turn 6. Then we've got that straight down into 7, and this is what I was talking about. When you come out of 7, or rather approaching 7, it looks a very straightforward dog leg right, but it isn't, is it? And especially in damp conditions.
It's a fast one.
Yeah.
No, in damp conditions, everything changes. But I think this is not one of the difficult corners. This corner 7, I think it's more corner 12. That's a dangerous one.
Well, certainly as you come out of 8 and then through that long chicane, as we go into the 3rd sector, as you're saying, that Turn 12. Yes, I agree. Sorry, it's not Turn 7 I was looking at. It was actually Turn 12 I was thinking of. I do apologise.
Because you have to shift back, I think, 2 times.
Well, Turn 12...
2 gears.
Yeah, the reason I said Turn 7 is because I always think that when I'm going to 12, it's like 7, but it isn't.
Yeah.
It's a much, much harder turn, but the approach doesn't look too different. So you think you can deal with it, but then when you go into it, suddenly you're sort of like, oh, God, hang on a minute, this is a lot tighter.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you really got to hit the turn 12 from the inside to the outside of the track, and on tracks on turn 7, you can cut the curb, you can get that, and you basically go straight up to 8. So it's not trying to rhyme there, but it's just what it is. It's more straightforward turn than 12.
Yeah, absolutely. Coming round that sort of horseshoe of turn 13, Sachs turn, down into the long chicane again, 14, 15. Difficult turns, 16 and 17, and then coming round Sud curve, the final corner, onto that straight. Again, you've got to be really careful how you're laying down the power as you come out of 16 and out of 17 as well, haven't you? Because you don't want to lay it on too strong.
I think that's the most fun part of the track, 13, 14, 15, 16, something like that.
3,
it goes just a little bit left, a little bit right. Also on the way the track rolls. And it's a little bit more technical. Yeah, I like just that's my favorite part of the track. In the dry, let me say that, in the dry.
Well, we'll see how it goes. DRS detection zone. First one is as you're coming down the start-finish straight into Nord curve, turn 1. Activates on the exit down towards 2. Second DRS is on the exit of turn 4, and that activates as you're coming round Parabolica, turn 5 towards the hairpin. Unsurprisingly, the speed trap is at the end of that. So 2 DRSs in Sector 1 and Sector 2. Okay, Guido. Well, we're going to just go across now to Hot Lap that one of the drivers put down. This is actually Miguel Torni for F1 Tonight Netherlands, to give us an idea of the track. And Guido, if you could talk us through while I get prepared for the actual queue.
I can't because...
Oh, yeah, that's true. You can't.
I'm looking at the YouTube.
Yeah, that's true.
It's delayed.
That's a good point. Okay, I'll do it then. Okay, so let's switch over. So we're on board with Miguel Torni, just coming round 16 into turn 17 now. And I don't know why, but I don't seem to have any sound on this. It's a bit bizarre. Oh, okay, not too sure what's happening there. Okay, so he's coming round. This is sector turn 2, 3, coming 4. Got the DRS round. This is the wrong lap. This is Sean Street. I thought so. Silverstone. Okay. Let's try again. That's the one I want.
Remember, guys.
That's the one I want. Sorry. It's live. 16, 17. Here we go. Out of Nord curve. Down the start finish straight now. Towards Nord curve, turn 1. Into turn 1. Down now towards turn 2. He's got the DRS. Into the right-hander of turn 2. I still can't figure out why I haven't got any sound on that, but I'll never worry about that. Round 3, 4. Into the DRS now of turn 5, Parabolica, leading down towards that hairpin. Want to stay in on the left-hand side, then go really tight on the hairpin, ride over that curve. He goes a little bit deep there, as you can see, rides it on the left-hand side out. Coming down now towards the right-hand dogleg of turn 7. Into the hard left now of turn 8. Through the chicane of 9, 10, onto turn 11, out of that, coming down to turn 12 mobile. This is what we were talking about. You just suddenly the track gets so narrow. Into turn 13, the horseshoe of Sachs, down towards the left-right of 14 and 15, into 16 now, round the final corner of 17, and onto the start-finish straight. So that's the hot lap there from Miguel Torni. Let's now have a look at switching over to the guys in the actual race itself. And Guido, if you could just run through the runners and riders and the non-runners this evening and those suffering penalties. Yes,
we have 4 guys that are not running, and that's Ross Milburn, Tony Foster, Josh Diggles, and Matt Goodyear. Thomas Cook has got a penalty for not uploading his clip again, and that's too bad. So we have 16 guys that are running. For Ferrari, that's going to be Lee Pratt and Phil Harris. For Racing Point, that's only going to be Jake Sorrell. For William, it's going to be Cameron Widdowson. For the Red Bull is Dylan Platt and Callum White. And McLaren has Sean Street and Tony Foster. Tony Foster is not running, so he's not here today. Alfa Romeo, Thomas Cook and Chris Knight. Haas has Ryan Lee and Ryan Doran. Mercedes is Zach Dejean, and Matt Goodyear is not running. Toro Rosso has Jamie Good, Richard Williams, and Renault has Jack Wilson and Adrian Stats Rich. I'm looking right now, but I still haven't gotten anything yet.
Actually, we're not going anywhere because I haven't been saying anything because I've been muted. But there you go. Never mind.
Again?
Yeah. What I was saying there is that
yeah,
I know in that Q1 session we didn't really concentrate too much on that because we had 16 drivers, and obviously the 16th driver there was suffering a penalty, so that meant that those 15 drivers were effectively just going to do a bit of a test run, effectively. So in that instance, all 15 drivers going through. We did see there 111s set by Callum White, Sean Street, and we saw a 112.4 from Dylan Platt, but that was on the hard compound tyre. Now we know that Dylan is a man that favours that hard compound tyre. Do you think that's something he's going to be looking to do again here at this Hockenhimring, Guido?
Oh, wow. I have to see my crystal ball here, but I don't know what to do. I haven't tried this track for myself yet for Thursday, so I don't really know what it does for the tires. Sorry about that. I haven't done my homework, so I don't know if it's gonna be wearing a lot on the tires. It is a fast track, and I think well, some of these guys surely can drive on the whites.
Yeah, indeed. We're on board.
Sometimes I question myself how, but they can.
Well, we're on board now with Richard Williams. He's the first man effectively on that out lap, and he's just coming around now into sector 3, going around turn 12, Mobile, and into the Sachs corner there.
I just got an update on the conditions. Ryan Leah said on the chat it's going to be dry throughout.
Dry throughout. Well, at least that's one godsend, I guess, for the guys. That is a positive, effectively, for them. So Richard Williams now on his fast lap, coming down into turn 2, round 3, 4, round 5, Parabolica now. He's got a Mercedes close in behind him. Obviously, being the first man out on track and the first man to set a lap, he will be setting the fastest lap. To begin with, anyway.
Yeah. Purple. There we go.
Coming now into turn 8, Mercedes. Through the little chicane, or the long chicane of 9 and 10.
And this is the corner you were referring to.
Yeah, turn 8. Sorry, turn 12, Mobile. Yeah, because it just goes away from you. It really does. Yeah. You just don't realise. And you can see what we're talking about there. I'll do an onboard with one of the guys when we're going around there, and you can see what I mean. It's I think it's because that turn 7 sort of gives you a false idea. You suddenly think, oh, okay, it's like that turn, because it looks, the approach is exactly the same. So he sets a 1:14, not a fantastic run, but he's on the hard compound tyre. So in that case, it's what you would expect. I'm sure he can go faster than that. Let's have a look now and see who else we've got coming across. So we're on board with Jack Wilson in the Haas. What does he do? He does a 1:11.8. So
it's not us, that's a Renault.
Sorry, Renault. Sorry, I thought I was looking it wrong. Jack Wilson, sorry, in the Renault. I do apologise. That's why I couldn't see his name come up. So that's Jack Wilson in the Renault. His teammate, it looks like Adrian Rich, was coming in behind him. That was Ryan Lear, actually. Sorry, apologies. Ryan Lear sets a 1:12.9. Ryan Doran in the Haas. So both the Haas drivers coming across, 1:12 and a 1:13. Chris Knight in the Alfa Romeo sets a 1:13.4. Richard Williams, as we saw, a 1:14.6. Phil Harris sets a 1:15.3. All those three drivers on the hard compound tyre. Do you think some of these guys are going to try and see if they can get through this queue on that hard compound tyre, Guido?
Yeah, I'm just wondering what happened to Jamie Good, because that's one driver less to worry about then.
Yeah, Jamie Good, in the Toro Rosso has gone out. I don't know if that was actually on track. Yes, no, that's in the pits. He's actually in the pits by the looks of it. Yeah, so it was in the pits.
Whoa! Callum White's fun.
Callum White in the Red Bull spinning.
Whoa, he's warming up his tyres a bit in the pit lane.
Yeah, he is. I can see him going into the pit lane now, and so does Adrian Rich on the soft. So a bit weird. He's coming off of one lap on the softs. Let's have a catch up, see where the guys are. We're on board with Dylan Platt now, and Dylan setting that, what was it, a 1:12.4 in the Q1 session on the hard compound tyre. So we know that's something that he can achieve. Just coming around the final turn 17 now onto that start-finish straight. A little bit slower, considerably slower actually, a 1:16.2 from Dylan Platt on those hard compound tyres at this moment in time. Let's have a look who else is coming around. That looks like a Mercedes just coming over the line. Where is it? There we go. And that was Zach Dejean setting a 1:12.439. The rookie driver this season, Zach Dejean. But looking strong, I've got to say, at this moment in time. Just want to have a quick...
You know you're going to be recorded for that at this moment in time.
What's that?
At this moment in time.
Oh, God, yeah. Well, I know, yeah. I've got to try and remember not to say that too much, to be fair.
I think it was awesome. Because Adrian made that?
Adrian made that, yeah. And I thought, well, I had to post it. It's the only thing to do.
That's good.
If any of you are wondering what on earth you're talking about, one of the UK drivers, Adrian Rich, also commentates on the Thursday night for F1 Tonight Netherlands, made a little recording of me, I think it was last week. It may have been the week before. I think it was last week, though, with my... moment in time. So if you want to have a laugh, either check out the Twitter feed, or I haven't posted it to YouTube actually, so yeah, check out the Twitter feed, check out our profile, have a look on there. A moment in time from Eddie Woodscorp Ferreira, that's myself, and have a laugh, because I certainly did anyway.
Yeah, I think it's great. You know, we're doing all those kinds of things, and it's all just for a hobby, and then stuff like that just gets online, and it's wicked now.
Cameron Widdowson coming over the line, and he sets a 1:14.0. 9.3. So good run there for the Williams. Guido, I'm a little bit surprised. We're not seeing the times we saw in the Q1 session, but then again, a lot of the drivers going on to the harder compound tyres, like the mediums and the hard compound tyres. But even Dylan, who in Q1 set a 1:11, hasn't been able to get those tyres working for him now. It's a bit bizarre.
It is a bit bizarre, but that's the strange thing that I saw, that with the sliding of Callum White on the red tyres. Is there something wrong with the softer compound trying to get the grip, or is there not enough rubber on the track? Or
Phil Harris in the Ferrari coming over now, and again he's not setting a fast time. In fact, a 1:19.8 there from Phil Harris. So this is a bit bizarre. We've only got 6 minutes remaining, and we're not seeing the guys really hitting the mark here.
What I think they're doing is probably taking a little bit more fuel and really making the tires up to a working temperature, and then pushing out a hot lap as soon as the tires are done. Because I see Richard Williams sliding again on the medium tires, but that could be one of the possibilities, that they're really working the tire to get up to temperature.
Yeah, it certainly could be. Just on board now with Callum White. He's on I think he's on a wind down lap. He's just at a 1:12. So good run from him. So at this moment in time, I've got to stop saying that. Right now, right now in the drop zone, we have Ryan Doran for Haas with a 1:30. In P12, we have Cameron Widdowson for Rocket Williams with a 1:14.
Oh,
in
Phil
13.
Harris
Sorry?
out of the pits. Phil Harris just crashed. Pit entry.
Oh, well, I can't see that, unfortunately. But Richard Williams is in 13. Phil Harris, as we just noted, has actually gone out in the pit entry, crashing into the pits, and Jamie Good as well. So they will be starting in row 7 and 8 respectively. Jamie Good for Toro Rosso will be starting P15 row 8, and Phil Harris will be starting P14 in row 7. 13 drivers remaining in this queue, 3 drivers yet to be dropped, and as I said, those 3 drivers are Ryan Doran for Haas, Richard Williams for Toro Rosso, and Cameron Widdowson for Rocket Williams. Ryan Doran. Is that Ryan Doran going to be coming out? No, he's not. That was the Red Bull crew getting ready to take in the cars there. So at this. I've got to start. This has really made me self-conscious now. This is shocking. Okay, right now. If any commentators are out there and can help me out with some nice link phrases, I'd very much appreciate it, because I'm clearly running out of them. Chris Knight is on a 1:13.3. He's in that P10 position. That's the drop zone time. And Ryan Doran has got 4.5 minutes, as has Cameron Widdowson. He's actually out on track at this moment in time. And Richard Williams. Richard Williams looks like he's the man that's going to now... No, Richard Williams is actually into the pits. Cameron Widdowson is trying to get as much heat as he can into those tyres, just coming out of Sector 2 now into Sector 3. And he's really looking to get as much heat as he can into those tyres. He's going to be going for a fast lap, I think, now. Hopefully he's not going to come into the pits and totally ruin my lead-in for him. Yep, he's into the pits. Okay. So
Well, I guess it's going to be one of those nights. I'm going to make a coffee now, because
I think it is going to be one of those nights. So in the drop zone still, there's Ryan Doran, Cameron Widdowson and Richard Williams. They are into the pits. They do have enough time to actually come out and do something. Lee Pratt is on an outlap at this moment in time. He's currently in the P9 position, as is Dylan Platt in the Red Bull. He's in P6. We'll stay with Lee Pratt. Hopefully he is actually going to go for a fast lap. He's on an outlap, so one suspects that he is going to go for a fast run next. Just into Sector 2, coming up to turn 13, Sachs curve. We'll go on board out of 16. So into 14, 15. Let's go on board with him now as he comes into 16. and around 17. So down the start-finish straight, getting ready to come into this dogleg right of turn 1, the Nord curve. DRS leading now to turn 2. And then quickly into the long chicane, turn 3, 4, into turn 5, Parabolica, DRS activated. So this is the long, winding left-hander of Parabolica, leading down to that turn 6, the hairpin. As you can see now, watch him here as he comes into that really, hitting that apex. Beautiful exit and entry, or entry and exit into there. Coming down now to turn 7, the left-hander dogleg of turn 8. Nicely done again. 9, 10, chicane there, lines up out of 11, down the straight towards 12. Now this is the turn 12 mobile. Look as he comes round, and then all of a sudden, oh my God, how tight does that track get? Into the left-hander horseshoe of Sachs, into the chicane, long chicane 14, 15, past the pit entry, into 16, round 17, and this is looking a really good time here from Lee Pratt. It's a 1:11.8, and that puts him in the lead for this Q2 session. That was a good run there, Guido, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's a nice run, but you have to bear in mind he's on the softs.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
but it was nonetheless, it was a, because I saw Ryan Doran. I didn't know if he retired or if he DNF'd, because
I think Ryan Doran has actually retired in the pits, so he's taking that P11. Yeah, in that P11. Richard Williams is out on track now. He's down. He's actually down a full second at this moment in time, Richard Williams, at this moment in time. So
really
Richard Williams.
Thanks, Adrian.
Yeah, coming round the final corner now. This is looking a good time here from the Toro Rosso driver, and it's a 1:12.3, puts him into P6. So he's safely through to the next Q session. And Ryan Lear, Jake Sorrell, both out on track at this moment in time. Ryan Lear just ahead of him, coming down past the start-finish line. And he's just starting his fast lap. So let's go to Jake Sorrell. He's on his out lap as well. So it will be Ryan Lear leading the way, and we'll come back or cut back to Jake Sorrell just behind him. So these guys are actually, well, Ryan Lear is certainly competing to get into that top 10, and Jake Sorrell as well, because he's right on the cusp, isn't he? He's on that 1:12.7. We suddenly saw the times come down, so we've hit the 1:11s and the 1:12s now, and the guy's changing tyres, changing tactic, coming off those hard tyres, going onto the mediums and the softs. So clearly they would have preferred the hards for the start of this race, because remember, whoever goes into the top 10, whatever tyre they qualify on will be the tyre they start on. So the hard tyre is the preferred option if they could, isn't it?
If they could, yeah, to make a first long stint.
But these guys, obviously, they've switched on to the Red Bull soft tyres, so it's a change of strat, basically. They're going to go all out for it, but they will be looking to use those hards during the course of the race, clearly.
Yeah, well, that's the gamble, obviously. If you start on a slower tyre, you can get bumped in Q2.
Yeah, sorry, Richard Lear. Ryan Lear gets through into P6. And what about Richard... let's have a look. Williams.
Whoa.
Oh, he's into the pits, and Richard Williams comes into the pits. He quits out of that. He stays in P8. But what does that mean? Well, it means that Chris Knight is in P10, and Zach Dejean, the rookie driver, is out of this queue with a 1:12.4. I mean, that was a respectable time, but it wasn't good enough, and all the guys just came out at the end there, setting those 1:11s, 1:12s, and they pushed Zach Dejean in the Mercedes into the drop zone. So starting in row 6, P11 will be Zach Dejean for Mercedes. Alongside him in P12 will be Ryan Doran for Haas. In row 7 will be Cameron Widdowson for Rocket Williams, and then alongside him will be the Ferrari, of Phil Harris, who went out. That's right, because Phil Harris DNF'd. So through to the next Q session are Dylan Platt, Lee Pratt, Jack Williams, Jack Wilson for Renault, Adrian Rich for Renault, Jake Sorrell for Racing Point, Sean Street for McLaren, Ryan Lear for Haas, Richard Williams for Toro Rosso, Callum White for Red Bull, and Chris Knight for Alfa Romeo. Those times just suddenly dropped down, didn't they, Guido? I mean, they were in the sort of the 115s, the 116s, and then all of a sudden they come out and then they set those fast laps. But it was clearly that tyre change that did it. Those harder compound tyres just not working for the guys in this qualifying session, were they, Guido?
Yeah, I saw a number of things. It's just some guys are really struggling in the beginning, and I don't know exactly why. And as you said. At that moment in time, they were driving.
Don't do it, please.
They were driving. Some of them were driving with the hard tires, and it looked like they were warming up the stuff, but it just didn't. I don't know. It looked a bit like they weren't fully in control, and then in the end, you see all these times popping out like it's easiest thing in the world. So it's a bit different one, this.
Richard Williams, first man out on the track, closest pit box to the exit there, so he's coming out on track now. I'm looking at something very odd here, Guido, because Richard Williams is on the hard compound tyre.
Mistake.
Surely that is a mistake, or
he's saving up.
Or is he trying to scrub those tyres, I wonder? Because obviously they're a brand new set of hards. Is he just looking to put a bit of a scrub on them, do you think?
We'll keep that for the viewers, I guess. I have no idea why that...
I mean, yeah, but you could say there's an advantage to doing that, couldn't you? I mean, you could say there's an advantage to set it, just scrubbing those hard compound tyres for a couple, 2 or 3 laps, just so that you've got the sheen off them, so that when you come to use them on the race...
Yeah, you get a little more heat.
You can get the heat a little bit quicker into the tyres then, can't you?
Yeah.
So that could well be a strat that Richard Williams is looking to employ. But close in behind him, I'm pretty sure it's actually, it's one of the Renaults. Is it Jack?
It's Jack, yeah.
Or is it Adrian?
Adrian is in the pits, so we got Jack.
Oh, no, it's not Jack, sorry. I apologise. It's Sean Street. Actually, who's just in behind him. It's not a yellow, it's actually an orange. Very difficult to tell on that mini-map. So Sean Street is coming round now. He's on his fast lap, coming out Sector 1 now into Sector 2 around Parabolica. Now, Guido, obviously we've seen 111s, we've seen 112s. What time do you think we're going to see here, and who do you think the pole sitter is going to be this week?
I'm sorry to say, but it's going to be Dylan Platt and a 110 high.
I'm going to go with Dylan Platt as well, actually, but I'm actually going to go with Dylan Platt with a low 110, possibly a high 109.
No, yeah, actually, I'm going to recall that as you did 17 times last week. It's going to be exactly that, because his 111 was on the medium tires. So he's gonna go for a 1.9.
Sean Street actually straight into the pits on that opening lap, so he's not too happy with that. Let's have a look. Is who we got next? Looks like a Racing Point. That's a Racing Point. Yes, a Racing Point of Jake Sorrell. Callum White setting the fastest lap with a 1:11.1. Lee Pratt for Ferrari with a 1:11.5. Richard Williams sets that 1:14, but that's because he was coming into the pits. We're on board with Jake Sorrell, very competent driver. Really been he's been a bit up and down at this moment in time, I think, in the league itself. He's currently sitting in P10, down 1 from last week from 9. But he's looking to prove a few things, and he's a very competent driver, the Racing Point driver. Well, both of them are. But I think Jake Sorrell is... I expect Jake Sorrell actually to probably be in row 2, Guido.
So we're going to try and predict row 2?
No, but I'm just saying, as a conversation, I think that's where it's going to be.
But... Yeah.
You're thinking about it, aren't you? I can tell. I can hear the cogs from here.
Yeah, they were a bit rusty, I guess.
But he's looking very fast here. Let's have a look at this. Oh, it's a 1:12.5. Puts him into that row 2, but only provisionally because he's just dropped down to P4. Still in row 2. Lee Pratt's come in with a 1:11.5. Chris Knight, though, has come in with a 1:11.5 as well. 1:11.509. So
I expect Sean Street to be in there.
So Chris Knight for Alfa Romeo at this present moment is in that P2 position provisionally in that front row. But now look at this. Callum White has just taken that place from him. No, he hasn't. Why has he done that? Oh, it's Dylan Platt. Dylan Platt, sorry, came in. And Dylan's done a 1:10.9. So a high 1:10. I still think he can probably get lower than that, Guido, I've got to say. But Dylan setting a 1:10.9 puts him into provisional P1. His teammate is in P2. Chris Knight dropping to row 2, P3. And Lee Pratt in the Ferrari alongside him. Jake Sorrell now in third row, P5. So Dylan Platt setting a great lap there. But he looks to me, this isn't an in lap. He's going for it again, isn't he? Yeah, he is. We've got just under 6.5 minutes remaining. I'm pretty sure he's actually going for another run here and see if he can actually improve on that. He's not going to improve on it. He's up 4.4 seconds, so he will be coming into the pits. Or he might look to go for another lap there. Still to set a time, Adrian Rich for Renault. And as I said, Adrian very, very determined, very confident here for this track. And I think both the Renault drivers are, and it's reflected in the fact that they're both into this Q3 session, Guido.
I'm going to have my eye on Adrian because he's said some things that he's going to be a wild man tonight. So I'm expecting a lot. He's going to overtake. He's going to block everybody. I don't know. That's what he said. So
Guido, I mean, we've put Dylan Platt for pole. Who do you think is going to win this race, though? Who do you think has got, the wherewithal to win?
I'm going to go for Sean Street again. I think I did that last week, didn't I?
Yeah, you did. I've got to say, I'm actually going to go for Callum White in the Red Bull. Adrian Rich has set a time. He set a 1:13.2. So, yeah, I'm going to go for Callum White, and you're going to go for Sean Street, yeah?
Yeah, the podium last week was Dylan Platt, Sean Street, Callum White. So it's, these are well, not the usual suspects, but it's...
Okay, so there we have it.
Candidates.
So, Adrian Rich is in P7. His teammate, Jack Wilson, still to set a time. Let's go on board with him. He's just coming into Sector 2 now, round Parabolica. Didn't see what his time difference was from Sector 2. We'll see how that sits once he comes out of turn 11 and then goes into Sector 3, just coming through now. Oh, he's invalidated this lap, I think, because it's not actually showing what he's doing here on my screen. Anyway, not showing the sector time difference. But this is looking a good run. I mean, if he's hitting 108 on turn 16, he should. Sorry, not 108, 105, 106. We should be looking at 111, 112. And this is looking a good lap here. It's a 111.5. Wow, Jack Wilson, 111.5 puts him into the second row, P4. That's a good run from the Renault driver there, Guido. Guido?
I'm flipping through the screens and it's...
I mean, what do you think? I mean, a 111 from Jack Wilson there. Adrian Rich is wicked. Now coming back out on track, I believe. Let's have a look, is he?
No.
No, he's not. Who's that? He's still in the pits. Who's just come out of the pits then? Oh, it's Dylan Platt again.
Oh, sector 1, yellow flag.
Yellow flag in sector 1.
Probably waiting.
Oh, right, yeah, just taking his time there. So, Dylan Platt out on an outlap at this moment in time. He's going to try and see if he can improve on that time he's already set, that 1:10.9. Still to set a time is Sean Street, though. And you were saying, Guido, you're looking at Sean to get the win. He's yet to set a time. He's just coming round sector 2 now into the hairpin. And again, I'm not sure if he's on a fast lap or not. I don't think he is, because the time just is too off. No, he's definitely not on a fast lap. But he could well be going for it next. This is an outlap, and again, I'm not showing outlaps. I don't know why.
Sean Street setting his fast lap.
I'm not getting the correct data coming up, but he does look to me as if he's on an outlap. So let's go on board with him then as he comes down into so 1:11.4. Let's put him in P4. So he was on a fast lap there.
Yeah.
So a 1:11.4 from Sean Street, very good run, puts him into that second row P4 position. Outlaps Lee Pratt, Ryan Lear and Richard Williams. Richard Williams starting a fast lap now. Let's go on board with him, the Toro Rosso driver, not a rookie any longer, but a new driver this season to F1 Tonight UK, and I think he's enjoying it, isn't he, Guido?
Yes. Obviously.
Just coming past the Renault of Adrian Rich there, obviously the Renault just on an outlap at this moment. Tom will come back to Adrian on to do his fast lap. He's into turn 6, the hairpin now. But a very competent driver, new addition certainly. At this present moment, he's got to be done. He's sitting P19 in the overall standings. Not a great surprise, obviously. He's only been in for a few races, but again, I think this is one of those drivers. You see drivers that come in the season, and you can see glimmers of real promise and progression. And I think Richard is one of those, certainly in this season too, isn't he?
Yeah, well, the thing is, they learn from each other, and that's also what we're trying to do. If everybody tries to help each other a bit, and if you tell them, well, not too much, but a little bit of their secrets when you brake and how you brake and where you push the gas and when you turn into the corners, they can get faster, easy, and they can really learn. So everybody seems to be in the majority of the season and the seasons after that will get progression, will get faster. It's just a matter of, well, not trial and error basically, but just practice.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Just on board with Adrian Rich, Dylan Platt just moving aside for him there as he was coming down into the hairpin as he's on his fast lap. And how's it looking? It's not looking too shabby at this moment in time, is it, Guido? It's down 3/10, set at 1:13, so that will put him on the ropes for a 1:12. High 1:12. Let's see if he can pull some more out of this now. Coming round into turn 16, into 17, and this is going to be so this is going to be a 1:11. Yeah, a 1:11.8. So he takes P9 from Richard Williams. Adrian Rich goes into that row 5 P9 position. So good run from him as well. And that's it, Guido. I mean, we've done it, and Dylan Platt does indeed take the pole. Callum White, his teammate for Red Bull, is in P2. So it's a front row lockout for Red Bull. Look at that. So, Red Bull taking the front row, P1 and P2, Dylan Platt and Callum White respectively. In row 2, P3 is Chris Knight for Alfa Romeo. Alongside him is going to be Sean Street in the McLaren. Row 3, P5 will be Jack Wilson in the Renault. Alongside him will be Lee Pratt in the Ferrari. Row 4, P7, Ryan Lear in the Haas. Alongside him is going to be Jake Sorrell in the Racing Point. And row 5, P9 is Adrian Rich for Renault. And alongside him will be Richard Williams for Toro Rosso. Okay, Guido, so we're coming to that point where we're going to give the guys, they've got about, what, is it a five-minute break, effectively, isn't it?
Yeah, 5 minutes.
So 5-minute break, and we're going to take advantage of that to have a look at the team focus for this week. And I guess, I don't know if it was accidental, on purpose or whatever, but this week it's Mercedes. And let's have a look at the Mercedes drivers. Just deactivate that. So we'll start with Matt Goodyear. So Matt Goodyear, 21 Grand Prix of 22, 95% attendance. Debuted in Season 1 Australia, left Ferrari after Bahrain and returned to F1 Tonight UK driving for Haas to Hungary. That was in Season 1 till the end of the season, scoring 7 points. Surprised many with a single pole position in Season 2, China. 0 wins, best finish, 6 also Season 2, China, as we just pointed out, 28 points, only finished 2 of 12 races last season, and this season he's finished 5 of 9, so definitely improved his stats on there. Current form, DNF 10th and 12th. Not too sure what that means, 10th and 12th on DNF, but still, never mind. Currently sitting in the championship. Where is he? He's sitting in P15. Is it P15? Where am I? I can't even read this. Why can I not read this?
Because you have to go to Hans Anders. That's what we call it.
Hans Anders? What's that then?
Hans Anders. That's an optician.
Yeah, you're probably right there. You're probably not far wrong actually, because I've just been going through it and I can't even see him on the Drivers' Championship, which is a bit bizarre. So if you could just check that out for me.
Yeah, I will.
But I mean, you know, clearly a very competent driver, Matt Goodyear. But he hasn't really sort of quite got it together this season so far, has he? It's been somewhat difficult for him, hasn't it?
Yeah. I think things hasn't gone his way.
Sorry, he's actually in P16 as I thought. It's just that...
you found it?
Yeah, he's P16 at the moment in the current Drivers' Championship. He's sitting on 21 points in P16. But he is a competent driver. I mean, he does have moments of absolute inspiration, doesn't he?
Yeah. You know, he is a competent driver. And he's just... Sorry, I was just looking at the screen. I saw something pop up, but it's just too bad. He has, he's taking a time off to get his things together. And I hope he'll be back and be fresh. And let's go. Yeah,
absolutely. But a great driver certainly, and we look forward to seeing him again soon. Zach Dejean. The new driver debuted last week in UK at Silverstone, put in an amazing show. I've got to say, unfortunately DNF'd, but up until that point, he was really pushing hard and some very competent racing, I've got to say.
Yeah, I hope to see a lot of him because it's pretty impressive how you see if somebody gets into the league, the rules, the things you have to do, the uploads, the everything that happens, and then you haven't even started racing yet, so it could be a little bit how'd you say, somewhat busy coming over, getting into this league, but you know he's holding on, and obviously a DNF. Well, it's too bad, but let's see what happens tonight.
Well, Guido, it looks like I'll come on to it in just a second, but Zach Dejean, as we said, fantastic race. He's one of the he's Scottish driver of French descent. I guess that explains the surname Dejean, and thankfully I've actually pronounced that correctly. I wasn't too sure, although I spelt his name wrong last week. It's Zach with a C, not with a K. That has been duly corrected. Good friends with another 2 drivers in the FOTUK league, and that's Sean Street and Jack Wilson. So the Renault and McLaren drivers there. He did a great move on Jake Sorrell out of Chapel last week for P9 early on, and it was captured in the stream. So as it says on there, so if you want to have a look at it and see how he did, please do check out the stream from last week. And then lost it at Abbey and crashed, effectively coming out. I think it was actually Woodcote that he actually crashed out of, but certainly a very competent driver. Now, we're getting a bit of information coming through here, Guido, and I'm looking for confirmation. The drivers are readying up, but it looks like we've got a technical issue from Dylan Platt. It looks like Dylan Platt may well be out of this race, Guido.
I'm looking at that. And he's not in this list.
No, he's not. So Dylan Platt, due to technical issues, has actually had to drop out. And that means that we are not going to be seeing Dylan Platt in this race. And I said right at the beginning, anything could happen. And I'm not going to go to driver commentator's curse because it doesn't exist. But, you know, that is a classic example. I mean, just as in the real world, and especially in the sim world, we can have technical issues. And that's what Dylan Platt has experienced. And that means he's out of this German Grand Prix, Guido.
Well, that mixes things up a bit. Well, at least we didn't get our... Well, yeah. Well, maybe I can win. You know, Sean Street's still in the game.
Who knows? Who knows? Let's quickly run through our drivers. So that means that Callum White will be starting P2, but he will actually be at the front of the pack. In P3 is Chris Knight for Alfa Romeo. In P3 is Sean Street for McLaren. In P4 will be Jack Wilson for Renault. In P5 will be Lee Pratt for Ferrari. In P6 will be Ryan Lear for Haas. In P7 will be Jake Soul for Racing Point. In P8 will be Adrian Rich for Renault. In P9 will be Richard Williams for Toro Rosso. In P10 will be Zach Dejean for Mercedes. In P11 will be Cameron Widdowson for Racing Point. In P12 will be Phil Harris for Ferrari. In P13 will be Jamie Good for Toro Rosso. In P14 will be Thomas Cook for Alfa Romeo. In P15 will be Ryan Doran for Haas. Then bringing up the rear will be Ross Milburn for Racing Point. Yeah, so the guys getting on to there now. Let's just get it into ready. Lights are coming on. This is F1 tonight, UK, and they're off for the start of this season 2, round 11, the German Grand Prix. Callum White stays in the lead. Jack Wilson moves up into second place, up 3 places. Chris Knight stays in 3. Sean Street stays in 4. Ryan Lear moves up 2 to 5. Lee Pratt stays where he is, but the big loser there was Ryan Doran and Thomas Cook. Sorry, not Ryan Doran, they're up 5 and 3. The big losers there were actually Chris Knight. He's dropped down 2 at this moment in time. But what a battle going on here as they're coming round Parabolica down into 6. We're on board with Chris Knight. He's just got Jake Searle coming down on his right-hand side, and look how close this is. Jake Searle gets ahead of him, but goes and loses a little bit. Chris Knight gets back ahead of him as they're leading down towards turn 7. Oh my goodness me, no collisions, but what a fantastic start. And Jack Wilson has got past Callum White and has actually moved up into that P1 position, Guido.
Yeah, I saw some bits flying off somewhere. At least the Jamie Good spun the car in the beginning. I don't know exactly what happened there, but it was both Toro Rossos in the end. I couldn't really see what was going on, but I had my camera on there and he had to spin the car around, so it really was he was backwards. there's somebody going into the pits, and that's Ryan Doran and Thomas Cook.
Doran, yeah, Thomas Cook both going into the pits there, so there must be some contact.
Thomas Cook just made an overtake in the pit lane.
Oh, well, that's interesting.
Is that legal?
That's AI. I wouldn't worry too much about that. So, at this moment in time, Jack Wilson for Renault is leading this race, and Callum White for Red Bull is in second. Third is Sean Street for McLaren. Fourth is Ryan Lear for Haas. In 5 is Chris Knight for Alfa Romeo. Jake Sorrell is in 6. Lee Pratt 7. Adrian Rich is in 8. Cameron Widdowson 9. Phil Harris 10. Ross Milburn 11. Richard Williams 12. 13 is Jamie Good. 14 is Zach DeJean. 15 Thomas Cook, and Ryan Doran 16 after they went into the pits. So clearly an interesting start, but Jack Wilson got a tremendous start. He's already up into P2 as they were coming round turn 1. He must have had an awesome launch from the start there, Guido.
Yeah, that's a surprise there. Renault being on top of the game there. Well, he took advantage, and that's great. You know, it's all to play for again here. Look at that.
Absolutely, and you know, I said this was going to be a race that was going to bring some surprises. It certainly has at this moment. We're on lap 3, and well, what a fantastic start. And you know, this is really promising for Renault. I mean, they haven't had the season they would ideally, you know, like to have. They're sitting 8th in the constructors and respectively 11th and 12th in the drivers' championship. But this could make a hell of a difference to them, especially if Adrian, you know, climbs up as well. And there's every likelihood of that. But Jack Wilson's going to have to really defend this position, isn't he?
Yeah, he's going to have to defend his position because, the quicker guys are going to be coming. I mean, the quicker guys that has shown to be quick. And you see already Callum White on his tail. He's going to try to make the move in a couple of corners.
Pit stops are going to come into play here without any shadow of a doubt.
I saw Zach DeJean going into the pits, so he probably had some damage there.
Yeah, he's gone onto the hard compound tyres, as had Richard Williams for Toro Rosso as well. So one would suspect he may have had some damage or some contact around the track, but both those drivers going onto the hard compound tyre. It's worthwhile keeping an eye on them because that is going to make quite a difference in this race. However, Callum White, he's on the yellow medium tyre. Jack Wilson ahead of him is on the soft compound tyre, as is his teammate Adrian Rich and a number of other drivers, Ryan Lear, Jake Sorrell, Lee Pratt and Cameron Widdowson. Those drivers are going to have to come in earlier. So is Callum White, is he too preoccupied, or does he want to get past this guy? He's got Sean Street 1.5 seconds at the moment off the back of Callum White.
I don't know, maybe he's just thinking about saving up his tires, staying behind, because he knows he's got the slower tires, and when he's driving in sector 3, that's not something that you want to use and burn your tires up. So maybe he's just saving it, and he's looking at, because I think Sean Street is getting a little bit more distance.
Well, Sean Street is losing time, actually. He's down. Yeah. He's 1.6 seconds behind. It's floating around about that 1.5, 1.6. I guess from Callum's point of view, stay in tight. Don't push too hard. Save on your fuel, save your tyres, and try and go for as long a run as you can. He's not really that preoccupied because he knows that Renault's going to have to come in. And if it looks as if Sean Street's going to close in on him, I guess he can always open up the valves and look to get past him, really. Because
if you're going to make that move on the yellow tyres, he's probably going to turn back the corner after that and try to overtake again. So it just burns up your tyres. He's doing the smart play. Though he is gaining speed. And he is actually making a move now. Well, Chris Knight has actually come into the pits and gone onto the hard compound tyre. Callum White, indeed, into the hairpin of turn 6, makes the move and gets past Jack Wilson. He will now open up the valves, and you can see he's already starting to pull out. But Sean Street, 2.1 seconds now behind Jack Wilson. Do you think that's because he's got Ryan Lear hassling him behind? Because Ryan Lear is only 5/10 off. Ryan Lear going very, very wide there out of turn 7. No, it's just a different
Sorry,
line.
turn. Yeah, it was. That was very wide. That was out of turn 11, actually. I mean, Sean Street, he's got Ryan Lear on the back of him. Do you think he's because he's concentrating on that rather than what's ahead of him? Because 2 seconds is the gap now to Jack Wilson.
I don't understand. You know, he's fast enough. Maybe he's got more fuel in the car to start with that weighs the car down a bit. Because obviously, when people start in the race, they can put extra fuel in the car.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That could be the issue.
Yeah, that could be the issue. And also, Jack Wilson could be running lighter as well, as could Callum White, effectively. So, Ryan Lear is currently in that P4 position. Let's have a quick round-up of the position changes, actually. So, Callum White, obviously, up 1, as we know, because Dylan, unfortunately, had technical issues, wasn't able to compete. Jack Wilson is up 3 from 5. Sean Street is up 1 from 4. Up 3 is Ryan Lear from 7, up 1 Lee Pratt from 6, Jake Sorrell is up 2, Cameron Widdowson is up 5 for Rocket Williams, Phil Harris up 5 as well. Remember, Phil Harris started in that P13 position. Ross Milburn, after crashing into the pits, very bizarre. Ross Milburn is just tucked in behind at the moment, 3/10 off the back of Phil Harris, and it looks to me like he could be looking to make the move. And I've just realised we've actually got Ross Milburn instead of instead of Matt Goodyear. I've only just realised that because I wasn't actually notified of that one. That's an interesting one. Okay. So Ross Milburn is actually taking the place of Matt Goodyear. Matt Goodyear dropping out for 3 races, and it looks like Ross Milburn has taken that seat at Mercedes. He's tucked in behind Phil Harris at this moment in time. So he's going to be looking to make the move, I would suspect, before long. So he's up 8 places. Jamie Good in the Toro Rosso is up 4, as is Thomas Cook and Ryan Doran. Into the pits is Adrian Rich, and he has come in and gone on to the medium compound tyre, so wasn't on those softs for too long. His teammate is still on the softs. Maybe Adrian picked up some damage, I don't know. I didn't see any contact around the track, so I'm a little bit surprised by that, Guido. Why would he come in now and go onto the mediums?
I don't know. Did he burn off his how many laps did he set on the quali?
Not that many, maybe 3 or 4.
3 or 4. Well, it could be that they're already done, because you saw people having trouble with the red tires.
His teammate is still out on track. He's on 7-lap-old soft, so okay. And maybe it could have just been his strat to come in and go on to those mediums. So we'll see what happens there. Leaders at this moment in time are obviously the guys on the soft compound tyres. So out of the top 7, 5 of those are on the soft compound, the other 2 are on the mediums. That's Callum White and Sean Street, so they're clearly going to be going in deeper. Sean Street will be taking that P2 position from Jack Wilson when he does come into pit. But equally, I would suspect that Lee Pratt, Ryan Lear and Jake Sorrell will also, as Cameron Winston just actually making the move. Oh, look at this side by side with Ross Milburn. Oh, look, so close and tight as they're coming round into that 3rd sector out of 11 now, coming down towards turn 12 mobile. And really good move there from Ross Milburn. He is really charging through this field right now, isn't he?
Yeah, I'm still getting my head around this, that Ross Milburn's in the Mercedes here.
Yeah, it's I'm trying to figure it out myself as well, but I'm not going to worry too much about it.
No, exactly. We'll see. That's something for after. We'll see. Phil Harris is looking to close in on Cameron Widdowson.
I'm wondering actually if that's an error, because I was thinking that he's going to play, but obviously Ross Milburn normally drives with the racing book. Did he have some sort of connection issue himself, and then when he rejoined, it put him in the Mercedes? I'm wondering.
You know, this is Gold Masters. I have no idea.
Yeah, I think that may well have been the case. We'll get clarification of that. If anyone from the admin team is actually watching, and if they can come in and maybe give us an idea of what's happening there, that would be great. So Ross Milburn really charging through the field at this moment, and he's up to P7, closing in on his teammate Jake Sorrell. So where are we now? We're on lap 9 of 67. Callum White still leading this race, and quite convincingly. He's got 3.7 seconds on second place Jack Wilson. He's coming into the pits, Jack Wilson, now. So let's see what he's actually going to go on to. Sean Street takes second place. Lee Pratt moves up into 3. Ryan Lear moves up to 4. Jake Sorrell to 5. Ross Milburn to 6. Jack Wilson, is he? No, he's got no penalty there, and he's actually gone on to the medium.
Ryan Lear's DNF'd.
Let's have a look at this. Oh, that's safety car. That's safety car. That's just on the exit of the pit lane. Actually out of turn 1, so safety car is out.
Jack Wilson's going to love that because he just came in.
Yeah, I know. He is going to love that.
But it looks like the problems are with the red tires, because Adrian obviously pitted 2 laps earlier. So it might be a problem with those red tires. They're going to burn up pretty easily, because that's why Jack probably came in as well.
Well, I've got to say, I mean, this is one of those tracks where it's not kind to the tyres, the Hockenhimring, is it?
No, it's a fast track. It's, you know, it's some corners you can throw the car around pretty violently, especially in the third sector, and you never know what it does to those tyres.
Yeah.
Oh, drive-through penalty. Drive-through then. Not
too sure who that was. Let's go and have a quick look through the field as they are. So Jamie Good is currently in he'll assume that P15 position soon enough. There we go. So he's in P15. In P14 we have Zach Dejean in the Mercedes. Richard Williams in the Toro Rosso is in P13. In P12 is Chris Knight in the Alfa Romeo. P11 is Adrian Rich in the Renault, not where he wanted to be. Ryan Doran in the Haas, he's in P10. In P9 is Thomas Cook for Alfa Romeo. In P8 is Cameron Widdowson for Rocket Williams. His teammate Josh Diggle's not racing this evening. 7 is Jake Sorrell for Racing Point. Lee Pratt for Ferrari, and he's in P6. P5 is Jack Wilson for Renault. In P4 is Sean Street for McLaren. And up to P3 is Phil Harris. What a race from Phil Harris. We'll come to that in just one moment, but he's already up into that P3 position. Ross Milburn, who is normally with Racing Point, but he's racing in a Mercedes this evening. He's in P2, and leading the way still is Callum White in that Red Bull. Safety car did come out at the start of this lap, so I suspect we could see it going in at the end of this following lap 12. But obviously, what does that mean? Well, it means that the drivers have really now closed up. Position changes. Well, as I was saying, let's have a look at Phil Harris. Up 10 places, Guido. 10 places. I mean, we've seen some pits. Obviously, there's been a bit of contact there, but that's a fantastic start from him after 12 laps and already up 10 into P3. That just goes to show the quality of the driver, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It does. And it's, you know, and also a little bit of, well, maybe sometimes luck comes into play, but, you know, if you don't keep your throttle pushed in, you won't get up there. Yeah. So if you hold back, it's not going to happen for you. So you have to get a little bit, you have to grow, how do you say it? You have to grow a pair to get in there. Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. And Phil Harris certainly has obviously done well. He's been putting Fisons on his pair, clearly. He's up into P3. So great run from him. Up into P2 and up 15 places is Ross Milburn, though. I mean, where did this come from? Ross Milburn,
He is a Racing Point driver. For some unknown reason, we yet to confirm, but he is in a Mercedes this evening. But up 15 places. I mean, you know, great run from Phil Harris. Fantastic run, 10, 15.
Fantastic, yeah. Fantastic.
That is absolutely awesome. So fantastic run from him, really good. So both P2 and P3 done an amazing job there, no shadow of a doubt. Tyre-wise, well, everybody in that top 10 bar Callum White, everyone in the race bar Cameron Widdowson and Zach Dejean. Zach Dejean on the hard compound, Cameron Widdowson on the soft. Everyone else is on those mediums. So this is going to certainly come into play at some point, I suspect.
Cars coming in.
As the race goes, yeah, it is indeed. Ross Milburn, Callum White leads off. Ross Milburn in tight behind him. And then we have Phil Harris, and Sean Street is right. Oh, and Ross Milburn's nearly lost it there. He lost out at one, nearly went into the barrier. Phil Harris gets past him and Sean Street, and he's dropped down to P4. And now Phil Harris loses it into that turn, and Sean Street gets ahead of him. What is going on?
Phil hits the wall.
Phil Harris has hit the wall.
He's done.
Yeah, Phil Harris has gone out of turn 4, it looks to me, and he just suddenly dropped, and we were on board there with Ross Milburn, and Phil Harris has gone out. My goodness me, what is happening?
Ooh, well, I don't know. We asked for something to happen in this.
Well, I thought it was going to be an exciting race, but this is unbelievable.
Only Pratt and Jake Sorrell are having a go at each other.
Yeah, Jake Sorrell, as they're coming down now towards turn 12, Zach's turn, right on the tail of the Ferrari of Lee Pratt. Little bit of a wobble there into 16. He's going to have DRS and no safety car. I think we didn't even have a VSC on that, did we, Guido?
No, we didn't. No, probably got out on the safe place. Who knows?
Ryan Doran picking up the 3-second time penalty. That'll be added to his time at the end of the race. But very, very tight here. I mean, 5 tenths now separating Jake Sorrell from Lee Pratt. Lee Pratt 4 tenths off the back of Ross Milburn, and Ross Milburn is just under a second behind Jack Wilson. Jack Wilson has moved up into P3. That's for Renault, so he's coming back now at the lead. Obviously he's gone earlier onto the medium compound tyres, and that is now starting to work, because once everyone pits and things sort themselves out, then the order sorts itself out. So that's why we're seeing Jack Wilson up there. Sean Street clearly going fast because he's got ahead of him. Remember, Jack Wilson was in P2 behind Callum White, although he was leading for the start of this race, but still fantastic run from the Renault driver there. Ross Milburn is closing in on the back of him, and Lee Pratt on the back of him, and Jake Sorrell on the back of him. So I mean, it's still very, very tight, but as would be expected, obviously safety car start was only a couple of laps ago, but these guys, they are not leaving anything behind at this moment, are they?
No, they're not. Oh, Sean Street's going down pretty
Ross
quickly.
Milburn,
Something
Lee Pratt
happened there.
picking up 3-second time penalty. That was clearly into turn 1, and you said turn 1's so difficult, but we saw it last year in the real world season with those damp conditions.
No, that was just before the pits. It was before the last corner, because they slid out, and there's a what would you call that track?
Runoff?
No, I'll get to it.
Okay. Not a problem.
But having said that, it's the top 3. The top 3 has 1 penalty, and Ross Milburn hasn't got a penalty yet. So.
Oh, Cameron Widdowson goes off the track there, comes back on, looking to try and make a move on Thomas Cook. Thomas Cook has lost the place. So he's actually looked to make it to Jake Sorrell. So Jake Sorrell gets ahead of Thomas Cook, and he's really moving up there. Ross Milburn, his teammate, just ahead of him, albeit in the Mercedes. He's still 6 tenths off the back of Lee Pratt as they come out of the final turn, down the start-finish straight, starting lap 16. And this is just an amazing fight. Jack Wilson just set the fastest lap of the race, Guido.
Oh,
He's really zoning in now. He's up into second place.
Check Jigsaw, P5.
Yeah, right on the tail of his teammate there, Ross Milburn, as they're coming round Parabolica. Is he going to look to try and make the move into the hairpin? He's certainly lining up for that. Let's watch them as they come down into the hairpin now. They've got Lee Pratt in the Ferrari. Just tell them, yeah, nicely executed there by Jake Sorrell, and gets ahead of his teammate. But is Ross Milburn going to come back at him now as they're coming around 7 and into the Mercedes turn 8? No, he's letting him go, and Jake Sorrell is now zoning in on the back of the Ferrari of Lee Pratt. Lee Pratt is now up to P3, obviously after Phil Harris going out. What a shame, because he was doing so well there.
You're going to get that left turn and to the right, and on the left side there, where the red signs are, there was a drag strip.
Ah, right, okay, so that's where he went off. Okay, so that makes sense.
In the real world, racing, there was a drag strip, and that's why everybody got off there.
Yeah.
They couldn't steer in.
Yeah.
Oh, Jake Sorrell's got the fastest lap, so he's really zoning into Lee Pratt right now.
He is. He's only 3/10 off the back of him.
He's being a bit aggressive.
Well, I think he's going to come around Parabolica. I think he's going to get alongside this Ferrari now. He's got the DRS, and as you can see, he's starting to close in. Lee Pratt trying to defend his line.
Defending.
He's going in tight, and let's watch them now into turn 6. He's got his nose ahead. He's got a full car length ahead, but Lee Pratt brakes late. Oh, nicely done though.
Nice.
Got to say, late braking.
Good
driving from both the drivers there. And Jake Sorrell slots in behind Lee Pratt. Lee Pratt only temporarily losing that third place, but he knows that Jake's there, and he knows he's gunning for him. They're all on the medium compound tyres, all round about the same. I think actually Jake Sorrell's tyres slightly older. It's coming now. Oh, look at this. So close between these guys.
Yeah, and what the funny thing is that Ross is waiting his chance there. They see him fight, these guys fighting. And then after that, having said that, Ross almost lost it there on the final corner. He's slipping and sliding. What's going on there? Yeah,
well, he's got Thomas Cook in tight behind him. Look at this. Thomas Cook in the Alfa Romeo is really starting to hassle the back of that Mercedes of Ross Milburn. And he's fully aware that he's there. Look at this now. They're coming round into 5. And again, I think Thomas Cook is going to get alongside, but equally Jake Sorrell, look at this. He's alongside the Ferrari.
Oh, easily. Oh,
gets ahead of him. And Thomas Cook also gets ahead of Ross Milburn. So Thomas Cook gets ahead of Ross Milburn as well and moves up into that P5 position. So that DRS round Parabolica really working for the Alfa Romeo and the Racing Point there. So Jake Sorrell up into P3 past Lee Pratt. Jack Wilson, though, at this juncture is 2.5 seconds off the back of Callum White. But he's in a strong position in that P2, and he's fought through. I've got to say, I'm very impressed with Jack Wilson so far in this Grand Prix. He's got 2.5 seconds to Jake Sorrell, so I mean, he's not in too bad a position there as it stands, is he?
Very good. Yeah, obviously very good. It's something we didn't expect. We knew obviously it was possible for him to do that, but we didn't expect to see it this quickly and like right now. He's really moving up there.
He really is. Really is.
The thing just probably hit me. It was that it could be that Ross Milburn, because he came later in the game, is running on a different setup.
Standard
setup.
Yeah.
That's why he has problems with his control.
It could well be. That would make sense. But equally, it's also got him up into P6, so I don't think you can complain too much. Let's have a look at the runners and riders. DNF's Ryan Lear and Phil Harris. So Ryan Lear for Haas and Phil Harris for Ferrari. In P14, we have Zach Dejean in the Mercedes. In 13 for Haas is Ryan Doran. In 12 is Jamie Good for Mercedes. Not Mercedes, sorry. Oh God, what am I saying? Dear me. Jamie Good for Toro Rosso. In P11 is Sean Street for McLaren. In P10 is Richard Williams for Toro Rosso. In P9 is Chris Knight for Alfa Romeo. In P8 is Adrian Rich, so he is effectively where he started in that P8 position. So he's gone up, moved down, but he stays in that P8. Cameron Widdowson for Rocket Williams is in P7. In P6 is Ross Milburn, normally racing with Racing Point, but in a Mercedes this evening, and I'm not going to say it again, so let's just say Ross Milburn is in P6. Thomas Cook for Ferrari, he's Thomas Cook for Alfa Romeo, he's in P5, and he's hassling the back of the Ferrari of Lee Pratt there as they're coming out of 6 down towards 7. Sorry, that was actually turn 12, so they're coming around Sachs turn now, so that's in sector 3. But Thomas Cook is right on the tail of Lee Pratt, isn't he? Very, very tight indeed. Lost a little bit of time around that sector 3, but will quickly make it up. So Thomas Cook, he's in P5. Lee Pratt, as we were just saying, he's in P4. In P3 is Jake Sorrell in the Racing Point. In P2 is, as we said, Jack Wilson, but leading the way is Callum White. Now, okay, we had the surprise technical issue from Dylan Platt right at the start of this race. Callum was alongside him in that front row. We were discussing only a couple of weeks ago what a competent driver Callum White is, and he was really low down the field, and then all of a sudden, it just suddenly came together for him, and that was really from Austria, wasn't it, Guido?
Yeah, well, as rightfully as you say, we've seen things before that you know that he's competent enough to do those things, you know, and now he's taken over the position that Dylan usually drives in and takes, and hopefully at the end for him takes home the points. And that's what makes the Red Bull team strong, and you know, because you got one Ferrari driving, and you got one McLaren driving.
Yeah.
And they're competing with each other. Well, not as much with the Red Bulls, but
yeah. I mean, it is definitely strong. I mean, the strong show here from Callum. He's not pulling out a huge lead on Jack Wilson. Jack Wilson is staying with him. If anything, he's actually starting to close down a little bit on him, about 5/10. But, you know, it's a great run. And as you say, good points obviously going to picked up. Not the points they were hoping for, but good points. I mean, we're a third of the way through this race. We're on lap 22. This is F1 Tonight, UK. And we are here at the Hockenhimring for round 11, the German Grand Prix of this season 2 for F1 Tonight UK. Leading the way, Callum White in the Red Bull, as we were just discussing there. In second place, Jack Wilson for Renault. And as you say, very strong show from Jack Wilson here. Important points to be picked up for Renault if he can maintain that place, especially with his teammate, who's actually now moved up into P7. So Adrian Rich is now up into P7. Jake Sorrell for Racing Point is in P3. Thomas Cook is up into P4. So he's got past Lee Pratt. Lee Pratt picking up a 3-second penalty going wide out of turn 1. Ferrari, Lee Pratt, he's not... They're not having the evening they want. I mean, they've lost Phil Harris, so half the team gone. Lee Pratt putting in a good show, but it looks to me like he is struggling a bit, Lee Pratt. I don't know what your thoughts are on that, Guido.
Well, I'm having a look at his penalties, and he's got 2 penalties, and that's not too bad for a track like this. So penalty-wise, he's not struggling a bit, but pace-wise, he's obviously now closing in on Thomas Cook and Jake Sorrell. And then again, it's a dangerous team. Ferrari is a dangerous team.
Yeah.
So I'll see him overtake these 2 guys in a few laps, because maybe the struggle is gone now. As soon as we started talking about it, it's a reverse. It's a reverse commentator's curse. Yeah, reverse commentator's curse.
Yeah, that's a good one, Guido. I've got to say.
Yeah, thank you.
So yeah, Lee Pratt indeed is zoning in on the back of Thomas Cook, who did make the move, and Thomas Cook now is only 2/10 off the back of Jake Sorrell as they're coming into the turn 2. Round 3 and 4. Oh, look at that! Look at that! Nearly made the move. Jake Sorrell made a mistake going out of 4, and Thomas Cook was ready to pounce there. He's alongside him as they're coming around Parabolica, and Lee Pratt just sitting in the background there. All 3 cars here. Oh, and there's contact! Jake Sorrell goes into the back of the Alfa Romeo and loses, I think it's his front right end plate. Thomas Cook gets ahead of him, but Jake Sorrell is now fighting it out with Lee Pratt. But he's still closing in on the back of Thomas Cook. He has got damage there. I'm just trying to see if I can see what damage he's got. Yeah, he's lost the front right end plate. Goes very, very deep as they were coming round turn 10 there, out into 11. Now into turn 12.
Lee Pratt's
sorry, not Lee Pratt. Jake Sorrell's lost his front right end plate. Lee Pratt is tucked in behind him.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So Jake Sorrell's the one that's and Jake Sorrell's coming into the pits. Yeah, he's coming into the pits. So that releases.
And he hits the wall.
Oh, but he's okay. He has hit the wall. Fortunately, he's going to get a new nose. Lee Pratt now moves up into that P4 position. P3 is Thomas Cook. So a real fight going on here. But Ross Milburn as well, still in the mix there, zoning in on the back of Lee Pratt as they come round Parabolica. And again, is he going to get the run that he's looking for to actually get his nose ahead as they're coming into turn 6? Let's have a look. He's alongside him. They're coming in. He gets his nose ahead. He's got the full car length ahead, but is Lee Pratt going to... Oh, nearly. Very, very close.
He
late
took
braking
it a little
there.
bit to the left. A little bit of aggressive move there.
Yeah. Well, Lee Pratt does brake late into that turn 6, so I was expecting him to brake late, but avoided any contact with the car ahead, Ross Milburn. So that's on the plus side. But Ryan Doran just picked up a 3-second time penalty. As I say, that'll be added to the end of the race. But very, very tight here between these two drivers, Lee Pratt and Ross Milburn. Thomas Cook now is getting a good stretch ahead. He's over 1.5 seconds ahead of those two while they're battling it out. So he's going to be looking to try and zone in the back of Jack Wilson. But Jack Wilson, 6.3 seconds ahead. But Jack Wilson, this is what's getting me. He is closing in on Callum White. Now, Callum White is on the older he's on the older medium compactor. He's got 25 laps as opposed to Jack's 16, and that's clearly coming into play now because those mediums that Callum's on are obviously starting to go off, aren't they?
Yeah, because you see a lot of guys struggling with the tires as it is. You saw it in the quali already when they were trying to make the fastest lap. All of a sudden they came into pits and trying to get grips with new tires. We got a safety car. What's going on?
Safety car is out. I don't know what that's for because I can't see anyone that's DNF'd. So a little bit confused.
If somebody saw what happened, please tell us why we got the safety car, because we didn't see that. We were just blabbing away.
Well, no. I mean, there's no reason for a safety car, Guido. If you look on the stats, there's nobody crashed out. The two DNFs we have are Phil Harris and Ryan Lear. So I am
maybe looking at damage.
Somewhat confused. Let's have a quick look and see if we can actually see any damage on any of the cars. Nobody's coming into the pits either, so...
No, I'm going through the cars. I'm not seeing any...
Not seeing it. Oh, sorry, Richard Williams. He's completely lost his front nose there. So Richard Williams is just coming round in the third sector now.
Yeah. Now I see it.
Yeah, and
I wasn't there yet.
Yeah, he's that Toro Rosso is not looking healthy. So clearly he made some contact somewhere around the track, and I would suspect it was probably out of either turns 1 or 2.
Turn 1.
We do have a car. Do I have a car stopped? Is that Ross Milburn? It looks like. I don't know who that is. Is that Jake Sorrell or Ross Milburn? That's going very, very slow. No, that's I don't know who that is. That's a bit weird. They were going very slow around Parabolica. Trying to see who that was.
Maybe because they're driving too fast on the Delta.
Oh, no, I'll tell you what it is. It's the safety car that I'm seeing. That's what it is. Safety car is out on track. And obviously I'm trying to find which car it is, and it's the safety car. So safety car is out on track, and the guys are lining up behind. This is the second safety car, Guido, for this evening. And this is really going to mix it up now. Jack Wilson's come in, and he's actually gone onto the hard compound tyre. Callum White's come in and gone onto the soft compound tyre. Thomas Cook had already lapped just the safety car come in. He went onto the mediums. Ross Milburn is on a fresh set of softs. Lee Pratt, fresh set of mediums. Fresh set of hards for Adrian Rich, Sean Street. Looking at that, Guido, I suspect that those three drivers, Sean Street, Adrian Rich and Jack Wilson, they're going to be going to the end of this race. 40 laps remaining. They're looking to go to the end on those hard compound tyres.
Yeah, or they're going to hit the wall because they don't have any grip yet.
I mean, this is going to be an interesting start because Jack Wilson is in P2.
P1, 2 and 3 have different tyres, so that's interesting in the long run. Oh no, Jack Wilson's, what's this? Oh, they're changing.
No, Jack Wilson is just basically looking to try and get some heat into his tyres there.
What's going on?
Safety car is still out. Safety car will be coming in at the end of this lap 28, I suspect. So important there for Jack Wilson to get some heat into those tyres, though, isn't it? He's on those hard compound tyres, and that's going to be critical for him on that restart, is to get the heat into those tyres.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about, I think, the tyre situation. And it is difficult. It is difficult if you don't get the heat in the tyres. After the safety car pulls away, you're going to punch it, and the first corner you get is a really fast one. If you don't have the grip, you're going to lose your car, and it's done, especially on these wide tyres.
And he's also got to watch it when he starts punching it, because he can't just, put the pedal to the metal, because if he does, he's going to lightly spin out, isn't he?
Yeah, it depends on which assists he has on.
Very few drivers, I think, now are running with any assists and actually running hardcore. I think the vast majority of drivers pretty much run hardcore, although I can't confirm that. But even so, it's still going to be tricky on that restart. So Jack Wilson tight in behind Callum White at present, and they're coming round.
Safety car in.
Safety car is coming in. They're just coming round sector 3 now, and let's ride on board with Callum White. He's backing them up. Safety car just going round Sachs curve. Obviously, as it comes round, it's then going to go into the pits, and he's got to be across the pit line before the car goes past. And he's setting off now, so into 12, out of 12, he's setting off. No, he's just gave it a little spurt. Not quite yet. Not quite yet. Coming into 14, 15, coming round 16. Now he's going out of 16. Off he goes, Jack Wilson. Close in behind him, Thomas Cook even closer behind there. Ross Milburn right on the tail of Thomas Cook. Lee Pratt a little bit further back. Let's go on board with Ross Milburn. And, he's P4, but that was a good start. No one really managed to get the jump on anyone there, which was quite fortunate, because it could have been very dangerous indeed. But Ross Milburn all over the back of the Alfa Romeos. They're coming round Parabolica, coming down 6, and Thomas Cook, I've got to say, yes, I think he moved more than once there, but still defends his line. But Ross Milburn gets his nose ahead. Thomas Cook looking to try and come back at him out of 6, but no luck there. So Ross Milburn gets ahead of Thomas Cook. He's now zoning in on the back of the Renault Jack Wilson. Remember, Jack Wilson on those hard compound tyres, so he is going to be a little bit slippery at this moment in time. And he's looking to hold the middle of that road, try and block as much as he can until he gets the heat into those tyres, and that's what he needs to do, isn't it, Guido? He needs to try and hold off, but at the same time get the heat into those tyres.
Yeah, well, I think it's a job you can't do in the first few laps of the tyres being as cold as they are, because Ross Milbur's obviously got faster tyres, so he's gets more grip in the corners, and he's going to overtake him. Anyway, but then keep your composure, stay with it, and this long stint as to win it for you.
Well, now this is the opportunity that Ross Milburn's got as they're coming round Parabolica.
I don't think he's close enough.
I don't know. I don't think he is either. I think there's good straight line speed from that Renault. But let's watch them as they come down.
DRS yet.
And it's going to be into the corner here. Oh, and he's got it. He's got it. It goes deep. Oh, right on his tail now as they're coming up round 7. But equally, Thomas Cook is right on the back of him as well. Let's actually go on board. Thomas Cook gives us a good picture here as they're coming round 8. Mercedes turn through the chicane 9, 10. Out of turn 11 onto the straight, leading to turn 12, the mobile turn. Round they come now, approaching the Sachs turn into 13. Then chicane there, 13, pit entry, 15, 16. Round the final turn, and now Ross Milburn is really going to be looking to make that move on Jack Wilson if he can. Can't quite catch to him. Let's watch him round turn 1 now. Oh, no. Still no DRS. Is it coming down now? Into 2, 3, 4. Out of there, round Parabolica. Now this is his opportunity.
I'm impressed with the defensive capabilities of
well, I'm impressed with his defensive, but also his pace. But look at this now as they're coming down into 6.
Now it's gone. But he's
well,
on the outside.
I don't know. He's on the inside. He's taken that corner well. Look at that side by side as they come out of 6. This is a drag race down towards turn 7, and Thomas Cook just sitting there in the background. Look at this. So tight between all these 3, and Ross Milburn does get ahead now, but Jack coming back at him. Oh, side by wheel contact there. As they come round turn 12, the mobile turn, approaching Sachs, and this is so close, so tight.
Oh, it's probably,
and
the setup comes into play here.
Yeah, but impressive, I've got to say, because he's on those hard compound tyres, and Ross Milburn's on the softs. So very impressive run there from Jack Wilson. I've got to say, it was only a question of time between Ross Milburn and past him.
Somebody trying to set up an attack here.
Cameron Widdowson is 8 tenths, 2 tenths is Lee Pratt off the back of Cameron Widdowson, and he's really zoning in on the back of him as well now. So as always with the restart, it really does bring some fantastic close racing. You can see
that's a wing end plate,
and that was who?
It looks like a white one, but I'm just going to check it.
See Jack Wilson now into turn 6. He's got Thomas Cook on his tail and Sean Street very tight in behind him as well. So Sean Street is closed in, as has Cameron Widdowson, Lee Pratt. But Sean Street really zoning in now on the back of Thomas Cook. And Thomas Cook looking for the weak point in the chink in the armour of Jack Wilson in that Renault. Goes so deep, Thomas Cook.
Thomas Cook goes wide.
Really loses it. As he comes round there, and that's out of 10 into 11, and he's been doing that pretty much. I don't know if it's his setup, if he's just got a low downforce. I'm not really too sure, but look at this Sean Street right in, and Thomas Cook's into the pits. He's got issues. He's got
he missed the one. They all do that. They go into the inside. They miss the wing end plate, so they miss the downforce.
Yeah,
they go low,
and Lee Pratt,
and then they hit the wall.
Lee Pratt is in as well, and he's going on to I don't know what he's going on to. He's getting a new nose. He's going to hard compound tyres. So this has really mixed it up as some guys have come in. Callum White, though, is still leading this race for Red Bull. So Callum White is in that P1 position.
Impressive.
P2 now is Ross Milburn, as we saw, made the move on Jack Wilson. So Ross Milburn is up into P2. Jack Wilson for Renault is in P3. In P4 is Sean Street. He was close in behind Thomas Cook, but Thomas Cook obviously coming into the pits there, moves him up into P4. Cameron Widdowson for Rocket Williams is in P5. Zach Dejean, the Mercedes driver, is now in P6. Jamie Good for Toro Rosso, he's in P7. Ryan Doran for Haas is in P8. P9 is Adrian Rich for Renault. P10 is Richard Williams for Toro Rosso. 11 now is Thomas Cook, as he's come out of the pits and gone to a fresh set of soft tyres. Jake Sorrell, he's out in the P12. He's on the medium compounds. Lee Pratt, he's come out in P13. And he is also, well, he's interestingly gone onto a hard compound tyre. So that's going to be interesting. And Chris Knight is in 14 in the Alfa Romeo. And he's also on the hard compound tyres. These guys obviously will come into play because they are not looking to pit before the end of this race. 3-second time penalty, by the way, there for Thomas Cook for corner cutting. Guido, okay, we're on lap 34 and 67. We've got 33 laps remaining. Callum White, Ross Milburn, Cameron Widdowson, Zach Dejean, all on the soft compound tyres. So they're going to be coming in probably, I would suspect, within the next 8 to 10 laps. Yeah. We've then got Jack Wilson and Sean Street on the hard compound tyres.
They won't come in.
They're not going to be coming in.
Unless there's damage.
They're not going to be looking to come in. So we will assume that they will assume or take P1 and P2 as it stands at this present moment. They will take that P1 and that P2. Jamie Good is very likely to move up. In fact, he will move up into P3, and Ryan Doran P4. Likewise, I think for Adrian Rich as well, he'll probably move up into 6. But they will have to come in again before the end of this race. They're not going to go to the end of this race. They're not going to do 30, well, as it stands now, 32 laps on 16-lap-old mediums. And equally, Adrian Richards is going to do 39 laps or 40 laps on the medium. So they will have to pit. So it is looking in favour at this moment in time of those guys on the hard compound tyre, which is Jack Wilson and Sean Street, to be on the podium, I'd say, Guido.
Yeah, I think so too. I think you're totally right there. It's. I think they made a good call. It's just hoping that there's no damage. Sector 1's got a yellow flag, by the way. Hoping there's not going to be any damage there, and then they can finish the race on that. And it's going to be interesting what is going on.
Yeah, and safety car is out again. Safety car is out again. Okay. Callum White has opted to come in now, and he's undoubtedly going to go, I feel, I don't know, what's he going to do, actually? He's 8-lap-old. Why is he coming in? And what's he going to go on to? Surely it's going to put him onto a set of hards if he comes in now. No, he's going on to the mediums. So he's going on to a fresh set of mediums. So, okay, that's interesting. Again, safety car is out. This is the third safety car. Oh, it's Chris Knight. Chris Knight went out, Guido. Chris Knight DNF'd. So, not too sure where that happened. Can't see anything on the track either. So, well, okay. So, Chris Knight actually DNF'd, and that's what's triggered that safety car. So, Jack Wilson is in that P1 position. He is on the hard compound tower. Sean Street moves up to P2. They're not. I mean, it's no point in them coming in. I guess they might as well stay on those hards, mightn't they?
Yeah.
I mean,
I think they should.
Yeah.
Because if you go on yellow tires now again, you probably have to come in again. Yeah,
exactly. So they're just holding that position as they are. Ryan Doran, he's on the medium, so he's now moved up into P3. He didn't come in. Callum White, who did come in, he went on to a fresh set of mediums, so he's gone from P1 to P4. But I think that was an inspired move from him, Guido. I've got to say. Yeah. He took full advantage of that safety car, and this could mix it up.
Yeah, because, it will mix it up. Because
there are only 31 laps remaining, and that is within the window of those medium compound tyres, I suspect, especially with a lighter fuel load.
If they stayed out on a normal drive, then Jack and Sean would have gotten the upper hand probably, because they wouldn't have to pit anymore. And now everybody's pitting and has got new tyres. And so I think it's going to draw back on them.
I'm inclined to agree with you.
Probably Callum is gonna get the upper hand here.
Well, I mean, it's certainly going to make a difference. He's going to be on those medium compound tyres, so it is definitely going to make a difference. Ryan Doran, he's in P3. He's also on the mediums, but he's on 10-lap-old mediums, so he's more likely he's got to come in. Ross Milburn, he's on a fresh set of mediums as well, and we've seen the pace that Ross Milburn's had throughout this race. So again, he's going to be looking to come through. Jamie Good, he's in P6. He's opted to stay on the medium, so he's sticking to his strap, as is Richard Williams on the hards. Cameron Wilson, he came in, he went on to a fresh set of mediums. Adrian Rich had actually lapped, came in, I don't know, yeah, he came in just before the safety car went on to a set of hards, a fresh set of hards.
Oh, what's going on there?
I don't know, they're trying to figure out who's in line, I think.
Yeah, did you see that as well?
Yeah. Jake Sorrell, he's in P10, so he's going to have to come in. Lee Pratt is going to the end. Zach Dijon, he's on a fresh set of mediums, so he'll be going to the end of this race on those. And Thomas Cook, he's bringing up the rear at this moment in time. Whether he stays on those mediums till the end, I doubt, but we will see what happens.
This lap.
Safety car will be coming in at the end of this lap. They're just coming into sector 3, and you can see lovely overhead shot there. Jack Wilson in the Renault backing the guys up, and that's Sean Street and Ryan Doran right behind him. Callum White leaving a bit of a gap there at this present time. He's not closing it up. He's got Ross Milburn on his back and Jamie Good as well. So this is all going to rely here on what... and yep, he's off. Yep, Jack Wilson sets off and Sean Street close in behind him. But Ryan Doran as well there. But this is going to be the interesting one. It's going to be Callum White as he come into turn 1. He's right on the back of that Haas. Into 2. Round 3 and 4. Long chicane there. Into turn 5, Parabolica. Clearly Callum White is going to make the move on Ryan Doran as they come down. Yeah, you can see the difference there. You really can. Gets his nose ahead. Although saying that, Ryan Doran's not going to give it up easily. But Callum White does indeed get ahead. But also Ross Milburn now is side by side round 7 with Ryan Doran as they come down into turn 8. And he takes that as well. So Ross Milburn, as I expected, in the way he's been driving here this evening at Hockenheim, is clearly very fast on this track, so he moves up into P4. The question is now is how quickly are they going to be able to get past Sean Street and Jack Wilson, if they can, Guido, because that's the thing as well.
Yes, they can.
You know, I would suspect they can, but two drivers, very competent drivers, Sean Street certainly, and Jack Wilson, we haven't seen him too strong in defensive, but he's looking strong.
And grip, turn 1 is Callum White pushed it through and stayed straight. Sean Street was sliding already. Yeah. Jack Wilson was sliding a bit. You know, that's a problem you have with white wall tires.
Yeah, it's that heat building it up.
Yeah, it is that grip. And just after the safety car, your tires are not optimal on
Sean Street. Really losing it. Callum really trying to... Well, I don't think he made contact. I think it was very close, but he didn't make contact with him. But he's right on his tail. Look at this as they're coming into turn 8.
Yeah, but Ross is also pushing.
Round 11 now. Down to Mobile. Such a crazy corner, really is misleading. Round 6 now. I think he's going to be looking to try and make the move on that start-finish straight, although that could be interesting because Sean's got a good defensive line, but this is really playing into the hands of Jack Wilson because it's giving him the opportunity to start to eke out a little bit more of a lead. He's almost a second ahead of Sean Street now because Sean's having to concentrate on Callum White, who's riding his exhaust fumes there.
It's going to be the hairpin.
Oh, no, he missed it! He missed it, he went too deep!
He had to stay just behind him, and then he could have got him on the hairpin.
Yeah, but he just went on the rough side, went too deep, drops down into 4. I was trying to get a third view there, but didn't work out. Ross Milburn now moves up into that P3 position. So yeah. Ross Milburn takes full advantage. He was close in behind Callum, moves up.
Ryan Doran sees him as a prey now, so he's coming in.
Yeah, Ryan Doran trying to zone in, but I think Callum's got himself together now, so he's bringing out the pace. But Ross Milburn is now the man who's zoning in on the back of Sean Street. 13 laps they have on those hard compound tyres, 27 laps to go. I'm saying that they're looking to go to the end on that, but are they 40 laps? Is that realistic? I think it is, but again, this track is merciless on the tyres.
Yeah,
Maybe it isn't.
It all comes down to how they feel, what they feel, if they trust the car, if they trust the tyres. You know, you can push it as long as you want, but you know, the things will break off and it will be brutal. It will punish you if you take it too far.
Yeah, I'm inclined to. I definitely agree with you on that. We are on board with Ross Milburn as he comes round Parabolica. I didn't say that. Down towards turn 6, the hairpin, and easily gets past the McLaren there of Sean Street, moves him up into P2, and Callum White now is zoning in on the back of Sean Street as well. So they are going to get past them. It's just a question of how easy they're going to make it. That said, I still think they're going to be pushing it on these mediums, you know, Guido. I am honestly starting to think now. I was thinking, yeah, they'll go to the end of the race on the hards, and yes, those mediums. But I'm starting to think now that actually they may not, and they may have to pit. And the last stint would undoubtedly be on the sub-compound tyres. So
it's interesting. It's an interesting situation.
Yeah, it is.
That's what we want. We cannot predict what's going to happen now. We can only
surmise and guess and speculate. Yeah, they're coming into turn 2 now, and look at this Red Bull of Callum White right alongside, gets ahead through that chicane. But Sean Street will have the opportunity as they're coming round Parabolica to see if he can actually close in on the back of Callum White. So he is alongside him. Is he going to be able to take advantage? No, slots in behind the Red Bull there. So Callum White gets ahead of Sean Street, moves up into P3. Jack Wilson now ahead of him, and Ross Milburn has already got past Jack Wilson and moved up into that P1 position. We were watching Callum White and Sean Street, and in the meantime, Ross Milburn did the same into 6, getting past Jack Wilson, moving him up into the P1 position. Well, I've got to say, great run from Ross Milburn, and if that was an error, I think it must be why he's in the Mercedes, and he went for a standard setup. He's got to be thinking, well, where am I going wrong? If a standard setup delivers this, what's happening?
Yeah. P10, there's a fight going on with Adrian Rich and Lee Pratt.
Sorry, Ross Milburn nearly loses out of 1, loses major traction, nearly gets off the track, and it's given Jack Wilson the opportunity to get back ahead of him. That was very close. Ross Milburn very, very close to sticking it into the wall.
Oh, yellow flag, yellow flag. Jake Saw was spun.
Yeah.
Jake Saw was spun. Yes, so, don't drive too far backwards, otherwise you get disqualified. Okay, he's got back on track already.
So Jake Saul gets back on track. VSC is off, so we're okay.
P2.
Yeah.
Side by side.
Oh, look at this. Ross Milburn gets ahead. Only just though. Callum White fighting with the Renault here as they're coming round, and he gets ahead as well. So Callum White and Ross Milburn getting past Jack Wilson there, and I'll tell you what, it wasn't for the lack of Jack Wilson defending, because he was really giving it his all to try and get those guys behind him, but they get ahead of him. So now Callum White has got past Jack Wilson, and he is now zoning in on the back of Ross Milburn. Ross Milburn, remember, in that P1 position, come right from the back, and if memory serves me correctly, Ross Milburn started at the back of this pack. So he's up. Is he up 15 places? Let's have a quick look at this, because I suspect 16 places. Yeah, because obviously, obviously 16 places because Dylan Platt was originally in, and he obviously suffered that technical issue. So he actually started in P17, although that's really P16. So he's up 15 places. Fantastic run from him. Absolutely amazing.
He's going to have an attack on Adrian Rich on the inside.
Yeah, Lee Pratt making the move on the inside, taking the inside there of the hairpin of turn 6, getting past Adrian Rich. Adrian Rich now back into P8, and that's where, more or less, where he started. He's up one because he actually started. Okay, that's just the way it works out. He's not up one, he is where he was in the beginning anyway. So he reassumes that position. Let's have a look a little bit further down the field. We've got Jamie Good closing in on the back of Zach Dejean in the Mercedes. And this could prove interesting. Zach Dejean as well closing in on the back of Adrian Rich here. So a real battle going down in that low-end midfield there. But Rich very fast round turn 1. Zach Dejean not quite matching him there. And he's got Jamie Good all over the back of him like a bad rash as they're coming through 4 into 5. And is Jamie Good going to make the move? I think he could well do.
Yeah, I just want to say that we got we're obviously live in the broadcast here. We got 29 people watching, and we're slowly getting up there. And we just want to thank everybody that's coming in to watch. Please share our broadcasts, subscribe to our broadcasts, look at our Twitter feeds, our Instagram. We're all working hard on it to get more of the broadcast of F1 Tonight up there. Look at our F1 Tonight UK, obviously, as we're doing tonight, and watch on Thursday F1 Tonight NL League. So thank you everybody for being here, and please subscribe, like, and share.
Yeah, absolutely, couldn't agree more. In the meantime, Callum White has got past Ross Milburn and reassumed that P1 position. So we've got 21 laps remaining now. Let's have a look at the field. Callum White in the Red Bull is now leading this race as he did from the start. So Callum White is in P1. In P2 is Ross Milburn. P3 is Jack Wilson, so he's still hanging on in there. In P4 is Sean Street in the McLaren. In P5 is Ryan Doran in the Haas. P6 is Richard Williams in the Toro Rosso. P7 is Lee Pratt in the Ferrari. P8 is Zach Dejean in the Mercedes. In P9 is Adrian Rich in the Renault. P10 is Jake Sorrell in the Racing Point. P11 is Thomas Cook in the Alfa Romeo. P12, Jamie Goods in the Toro Rosso. And bringing up the rear in P13 is Cameron Widdowson in the Rocket Williams. DNFs this evening, Chris Knight for Alfa Romeo, Phil Harris for Ferrari, Ryan Lear for Haas, and right at the beginning, not even on this chart, was Dylan Platt for Red Bull. So those are the 4 drivers that have dropped out. We have
Ryan Wilson, Lee Pratt,
Richard Williams.
Something happened there together.
Was it Lee Pratt? Richard Pratt. 3 cars. My goodness me. And I think that was into turn 1. We will just come off them actually. That's Richard Williams, Lee Pratt, and Zach Dejean. We are, oh yes, oh look at that. That was nasty. So that was out of turn 1. Clearly they were fighting it out between each other. Contact was made and 3 cars have gone out simultaneously, Guido. That is unbelievable.
Bye-bye Ferrari.
Yeah, definitely. So Lee Pratt, Zach Dejean and Richard Williams all out. Clearly contact made. I suspect that there was contact probably between Dejean and Williams, and they may have spun out in front of Lee Pratt. And indeed, look at this, Thomas Cook has got a puncture. Thomas Cook, oh, is that Thomas Cook? No, it's not, it's Adrian Rich. Adrian Rich has got a puncture. So Adrian Rich from Renault has got a puncture. Oh, and he's trying to get back. Oh,
is he still alive?
He is still alive, but the Toro Rosso's coming round. He's got to stay out of his way. Oh my goodness me, and he just can't steer. That's the problem.
Stay on this, it's just...
He cannot steer. Oh my goodness me. This is really, well, we are on the safety car.
He's halfway across the track, so he has a long way to go with a puncture. Oh no!
Oh Oh, he's spinning again. Oh, this is so disheartening for any of you out there. For any of you out there who've experienced this during a league race, you will know how frustrating this is, because all you want to do is keep the car in a straight line, but it just won't stay there, because that puncture and that tyre running off, you've got to go so gently. You cannot afford to lay down any power. Good God, this is tragic. We can't stay on this for too long. Poor Adrian. Oh, and he's right across the corner there of Mobile, turn 12. And, okay, the cars are coming up behind. Fortunately, the safety car is still behind him. He needs to try and get into those pits. But I've got to... Yeah, very easy. Very gentle. And hopefully he will get into the pits before the safety car catches up to him. And I think he is there.
Oh,
yeah.
wait. Please do not DNF.
Right, now he's got to wait till all the cars come past before he can even go into the pits.
Oh, drive. Don't stop.
Go now. He's got no traction. That's the problem.
He's gonna do. Oh my God. Wrong side of the bullet.
He's got no traction. Now he's okay, and he's in there.
No, easy. Don't go so fast.
He's into the pits. He's okay. He's there. So Adrian Rich makes it to the pits, and oh my goodness, that was tragic. That really took the edge off there.
I'm gonna have to make a toilet stop now. this is too much for me.
Well, Guido, we're on lap 49 of 67. That means that we only have 18 laps remaining. Safety car is out. I suspect it will come in at the end of lap 50. So Callum White leads this race for Red Bull. In second place is Ross Milburn. In third place is Jack Wilson, still hanging on in there. In fourth place is Sean Street in the McLaren. In P5 is Ryan Doran for Haas. In P6 is Jake Sorrell for Racing Point. In P7 is Thomas Cook for Alfa Romeo. In P8 is Jamie Good for Toro Rosso. In P9 is Cameron Widdowson for Rocket Williams, and in P10 is Adrian Ballerina. No, I'm going to have to think of something, but he was definitely dancing all over that track, and now he's up on the grass. Oh, dearie me. This is not panned out the way he was hoping, but still, we've still got 18 laps remaining. The cars are being backed up. Has the safety car come in? Yes, it has. So, no, we are getting underway for the end of lap 49. So, Callum White pulls away. Ross Milburn is in P2. Jack Wilson is in P3. And they're trying to close in. Oh, Jack very much caught in that corner. Don't think he got any penalties for that, so he did stay on the track. But this is going to be very tricky, very dicey for Jack Wilson and Sean Street on those hard compound tyres. But he's keeping pace with Ross Milburn. He is staying in there. 17 laps, 18 laps including this one now remaining. And, well, this is going to be tight to the end. Jack Wilson and Sean Street.
An AI.
Who is?
Thomas Cook is an AI. He's dropping back. He's on AI. I saw red.
Yeah, so he may have gone out. So he may have lost. Connection there. Callum White leads the way. Ross Milburn is in 2. Jack Wilson 3. Ryan Doran 4. Sean Street 5. Jake Sorrell 6. 7. Jamie Good. 8. Cameron Woodson. 9. Thomas Cook. 10. Adrian Rich. Guido, as I say, 17 laps remaining. Callum White on 14 lap old mediums. Ross Milburn on 14 lap old mediums. We were expecting them to go to the end of this 40 laps, but Jack Wilson has come in, so he did take advantage of that safety car, came in, went on to a fresh set of mediums, so he is clearly going to be going to the end. Ryan Doran, he's got ahead of Sean Street, because Sean Street, that's weird, why am I showing Sean Street as on mediums when I'm pretty sure he was on the hard compounds?
I'm looking, he's on the mediums.
He is on the mediums. He must have come in and
Did you see that? You see that in the pits?
Earlier on. No. I'm just saying earlier on. I'm sure he was on the hards, as was Jack Wilson. They both were. Or was it Ross Milbert? No, it wasn't. Who was on the hards? Jack Wilson was on the hards. I'm pretty sure Sean Street was as well. So I'm a little bit confused there.
I expect everybody to be confused after what happened tonight.
I think he's gone onto a scrubbed set. I think he may have gone onto a scrubbed set to just close the race because he didn't think he was going to finish on those hards. But I don't get why he's got 16 laps. But still, anyway, we'll figure it out. So presently, Sean Street is in that P5 position. Jake Sorrell is in P6. And... well, it could be anyone's now, because, I mean, Ryan Doran's on the softs. I mean, I've got to say, was that an inspired call from Doran? Because he's in that P4 position. This could be one of his best finishes in a race. DRS has now been enabled. He's got 4 laps on those. Can he go to the end, do you think, on those soft compound tyres, Guido? Bearing in mind, we've only got 15 laps remaining. He can go to the end on those soft compound tyres, Ryan Doran, I think.
Yeah, he should be able to, but I think there's going to be another safety car.
Oh, so blimey, another one?
Mix things up.
We've had 4, haven't we? I mean, how many do you want, Guido? Seriously?
Well, yeah, considering it's not a wet run, so this is awesome. I have to say, from a viewer's point of view, I think it's just.
Well, I've got to say, you were speaking earlier about the 29 viewers that we've got. Obviously, we do broadcast live, and that said, yeah, we're looking to get as many people watching live as we can. Over the course of the week, we actually do get, in the hundreds, so we do get well over 200 views normally per race. But that said, obviously, we would like to increase the... let's say the live views that we're getting, and I'm glad that you guys are in, and I hope you're enjoying it, and I certainly hope you join us Thursday for F1 Tonight NL, and in the forthcoming races for this Season 2 for F1 Tonight UK and Season 7 F1 Tonight NL. We are on board with Ryan Doran, who is driving now an inspired race. He is really zoning in on the back of these podium potentials ahead of him. Jack Wilson is currently in P3, and he is really zoning in, but he doesn't seem to be taking advantage around Parabolica. He's closing in on sort of other areas, so let's keep an eye on that. As they come into turn 6, he's clearly got the better grip, and you can see, look at that, Ross Milburn, Jack Wilson fighting, and Jack Wilson has actually got ahead of Ross Milburn. Guido, where did that come from?
I don't know, mate. I don't know. Look. It's Ryan Doran is hanging on. He's obviously got faster tires. He's got 5-lap-old softs. Is he gonna make a move? Because Ross Milburn's pretty aggressive in his driving.
It's very difficult to tell. I mean, hard braking as he's coming round Sachs turn 13 there, into the chicane 14, 15, round 16 now. DRS is enabled. Is he close enough to get past 3/10? I don't think he's close enough to get past him into I don't know. Is he close to get past him out into turn 2? I don't think so. Ross Milburn going right over there. And he's got good pace, so no, he can't catch into him. But I think where he will get him is around Parabolica. So they're just coming out of 4 into 5 now, round Parabolica. And this is where Ryan Doran needs to take advantage. He is, but I don't get it. He's only 2/10 off. He should be able to get, at least alongside. Coming down into turn 6, he will have the better grip. Takes that apex, but Ross Milburn still stays ahead of him. So Ryan Doran, he is in that P4, but he is really fighting to try and get onto that podium right now, isn't he?
So let's see what it's going to do in the penalties.
Well, yeah, that's the next one to come through.
Ross has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh,
a lot.
So Ryan Doran's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Oh my goodness.
Unbelievable.
Oh my goodness. Well, I mean, to be fair, this is a track where it's going to happen, but there is a lot there.
Well,
there is a lot.
We can test that with looking Thursday. At Adrian, because Adrian's normally one of the cleanest drivers there is.
That's true. That is very true.
Got... No, really? He's got 1 plus a 5 seconds countdown.
So he's got one 3-second penalty and 1 5, which is probably he's got 1, so he's served the 5 second. I think that may have been during contact at some point around the track.
However, he's got another one.
So this is this what does that mean? Some of you are watching here thinking, okay, what does the penalties mean? What the hell does it matter? I tell you why it matters, because at the end of this race, those penalty points are actually added onto the overall time, and taking into account that amount of penalties, what that means is we are very likely to see a change to that P3 position, because that's when it will critically come in. We're not going to work it out now, but what I'm saying is keep an eye on it, because it could well change. And there is still every possibility. I think Ryan Doran still has less penalties than Ross Milburn, and that being the case, he could take that P3 and that podium place from him.
It's no way.
Ross Milburn's gone out! He's gone out of turn 1! Oh my goodness me! Let's have a look at this, see if we can actually get him.
What did I say?
He's gone out. He's gone out. Ross Milburn has gone out, and that was in the exit of turn 1. And we do have another safety car. Guido, how many drivers is this track going to claim tonight? This is almost like racing at Baku.
Commentators curse.
Well, I hope not. I really do hope not. But Ross Milburn, who has been doing an amazing job throughout this race, has gone out, and that has triggered another safety car. Guido, how many safety cars have we had? 5? Is it 5? I'm pretty sure it's 5th. This is the 5th safety car.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't counted it.
Yeah, it is. Jamie Good just coming in, and he's going on to a fresh set of softs. And this really has now mixed it up. But look at that second place. Callum White still leading, but Jack Wilson, he's up into 2nd. And Ryan Doran is up into 3rd, and Sean Street is in 4th. Jake Sorrell is now in 5. Cameron Widdowson is in 6. Jamie Good for Toro Rosso is 7. 8 is Thomas Cook. And, well, 9 will be Adrian Rich, so clearly in the points. Jack Wilson now leads as Callum White has actually come in. So Jack Wilson will be meeting the safety car as he comes out. I think it'll probably be out of turn 4 into Parabolica. He should meet the safety car. Yep, there it is. There's the safety car. Just stop there on the side on Parabolica.
Oh, you have to be fair there, Ross Milburn. He's gone out with a bang. He fought like a lion, basically. That's wicked. You know, he's pushed it from the back all the way to the front with without his own setup.
a setup. Yeah, absolutely. And it's such a shame he went out in that circumstance.
It's a shame that you lose it.
It is a great shame that he went out under those circumstances. Let's have a quick review here while the guys are actually lining up behind the safety car. So Jack Wilson started in P5, up 4 places to 1. Cameron Widdowson started in 12, he's up 10 to 2. Callum White did start in P2, he's down 1 in P3, but I suspect he will probably make pretty short work of Cameron Widdowson once we get underway. Ryan Doran is up to 4 for Haas. Sean Street in the McLaren, he's down 1, but Ryan Doran up 12 places. Sorry, I skipped that, but great run from him, fantastic run from him, and there's every likelihood he is going to get on the podium. All he needs to do is just get past Cameron Widdowson, and he should be on for the podium. Sean Street, he's down 1 to 5. Jake Sorrell is up 2 to 6. Jamie Good up 7 to 7. Thomas Cook up 7 to 8, and Adrian Rich stays where he was in that P9 position. DNFs, well, God, they are numerous to say the least. Both the Mercedes, the temporary Mercedes driver of Ross Milburn, he went out. Zach Dijon, he went out in a 3-car pile-up with Lee Pratt and Richard Wilson. Chris Knight went out earlier. Phil Harris even earlier than that, and Ryan Lear at very early doors. Dylan Platt, as we know, technical issues, wasn't able to get onto the formation, and well, this really has mixed it up. Out of 16 drivers, we have 9 remaining. 7 have gone. So what have we got, and what's going to happen? Well, that is the next question. Jack Wilson is currently in that P1 position. He's on a set of medium compound tyres. No problem at all. He's not going to need to come in. Cameron Widdowson, he's on some somewhat older medium tyres. I think he's going to have issues, I've got to be honest, because behind him is Callum White in the Red Bull, and he's on a fresh set of softs. And behind him is Ryan Doran in the Haas, also on a fresh set of softs. So I suspect we're going to see those guys coming through and taking that P2 position and looking to try and assume the podium. That said, in P5, Sean Street, let's not discount Sean Street under any circumstance. He's on a fresh set of soft tyres. He's in P4. Equally, Jake Sorrell is in P6, and he is on a fresh set of tyres, soft tyres as well. So this is going to be a very hard restart indeed. We just saw Adrian Rich flying past the leader there, and the reason
Rich got disqualified.
He hasn't been disqualified. He's basically trying to catch up because he's at the back of the pack, so he's trying to catch up.
On the screen, and probably the viewers can see that as well.
No, it didn't come up.
He's got disqualified, but he hasn't. But Jack and Callum, they both have the same amount of penalties, so they're really fighting for the position there.
So Jack Wilson and Callum White have the same amount of penalties, you say, Guido?
Yeah.
So that's going to be pretty. So Callum White is going to have to make the move on Jack Wilson on the track. One would think that's going to be straightforward, but I suspect it may not be. We've only got 8 laps remaining. Safety car will be coming in at the end of this lap, I suspect, lap 59. Yes. Well, I don't know though, because Adrian hasn't actually caught up with them yet, so he's got to be on the same lap as them before it starts. So we could see this actually going up to lap 60. Adrian Rich and Lorena just coming into turn 12 mobile. Remember, Adrian Rich suffered that appalling. Oh dear! And they can't stop this contact. Oh my God! Sean Street has just gone into the back at turn 6 of Callum White.
Sean Street gets a 5-second time penalty for severe collision with Callum White. Yeah,
it went straight into the back. But to be fair, Callum White actually stopped. But I don't think there was much he could do because the car's ahead of him. So that's really unfortunate.
You get a lot of traffic in front of you when you get a safety car, and it looks like somebody's braking really hard. And you know, as a normal traffic comes, and the first one brakes, and the second one brakes a little bit harder, and in the end, you have to almost stop to
that is really going to mix it up now because he is lost.
His wing end plate's gone. His right wing end plate's gone. So he's going to come in. He's
going to have to come in, I suspect, and that's a real shame. Jack Wilson backing them up, obviously, as the safety car is coming in. And he's going to... last time he released out of turn 15... Sorry, out of turn 16 is when he released. And I reckon he's probably going to try and mix it up. So he may try and go a little bit earlier. No, he's going again out of 15. So launches himself out of there. Cameron Widdowson is just in behind him. And then we've got Callum White in the Red Bull. So Callum White is the man to watch at this moment in time because he's going to be looking to make a move.
Almost lost it.
Going to be making a move on Cameron Widdowson, undoubtedly round Parabolica. But equally, he's got Ryan Doran right on the back of him as well. So let's get alongside. Let's get overhead. Here we go. So Cameron Widdowson has got his nose ahead. Callum White just gets his nose ahead, hits that apex. But look, just behind the Haas there as well of Ryan Doran, just getting his nose through as he comes into 7. So Ryan Doran does indeed get past Cameron Widdowson, as I thought they would do. So both the Haas and the Red Bull getting past Cameron Widdowson, so moving up into P2 and P3. Now, the question is can Callum White close in the remaining laps and overtake Jack Wilson? Well, he's done the first one. He's closed in on him. Now he needs to get past him. But I suspect that Jack Wilson isn't going to make it easy, is he, Guido?
No, he's going to smell that finish line. He's going to want to defend that, and rightfully so. He's been working hard for this, and he should be, Well, it should be, yeah. Well, if the winner wins, let's put it to that. But he's come from far.
He's put in a great race, it has to be said.
Yeah.
It really has. So Callum White is closing in on the back of Jack Wilson, but we're pretty sure Jack isn't going to make it easier. You know, let's remember, you know, Callum White is right now, he's P6 in the championship, and Jack Wilson is P12. So, you know, there's some valuable points to be picked up here.
Callum White just slid a bit. He's got a bit of oversteer. So he's still got it. He hasn't got his tires up to temperature probably. But, yeah, as you said, you have P12 in the championship. You know, it could be that it's one of those tracks that just suits you.
Yeah.
Yeah, those tracks.
I've said right at the beginning, I mean, it is not a track that I love, I've got to say. It's nowhere near on my favourites list. In fact, it's on the opposite list, but it is a tough track. But equally, you know, some tough tracks people excel at, and undoubtedly, Jack Wilson, I know he's put in the practice with his teammate Adrian during the course of this week, but even with that said, he just seems super confident here at the Hockenhimring, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. You know, he's confident. He's going to get overtaken here.
I don't know. I don't think so. It's turn 7. It's going to be tight. It's going to be very close, wheel to wheel.
Defending nicely. He gets the upper hand.
Callum White squeezes him round 8 and gets ahead. So Callum White does now get ahead. Jack Wilson drops down into P2, and Ryan Doran is in behind. Now the question is here: is Ryan Doran going to be able to get past Jack Wilson in the next 5 laps? And this is going to be a real fight, because again, you know, Ryan Doran, don't get me wrong, competent driver, but he's been doing, I mean, he has been doing well. It's got to be said during the course of this season. But
Jack Wilson just got a penalty.
Oh no, he hasn't.
Now the pressure is on, and then that's where you see just little mistakes coming in. That's always. And you see that when you're driving, you obviously see that, because it announces that you got a penalty. And it just gets your confidence a little bit lower, because you just,
Well, I was just going to say, Guido, I mean, we've got Ryan Doran, who's currently P13 in the championship, and Jack Wilson, sorry, not P13, he's actually P18, and Jack Wilson, who's P12, and they're both on for podium finishes. I mean, what does that say?
Yeah, exactly.
So Ryan Doran is in P3. Jake Sorrell is still 3.2 seconds off the back of him. Can Jake Sorrell close in, do you think, Guido? Is he going to be able to do anything here? Is he going to be able to close in on the back of that Haas and spoil the day for Haas?
I think it's too far, but I haven't said that. It's Ryan Doran's got 1 penalty more than Jack Wilson, so that's going to be interesting. And I'm just looking at sorry, Jake Sorrell.
So Jake Sorrell.
Jake's got 2. So
Callum White. Sorry, Callum White's just picked up a 3-second time penalty, Guido.
Oh God.
So this could now really mix it up. You said they were on equal footing, so I'm working on the premise that Jack Wilson has now got a potential 3-second advantage over Callum White, and if that is the case, he's actually 1.8 seconds ahead of him in overall race time.
No. Now as it sits now, is Jack Wilson's got 2 more penalties than Callum White.
Oh, right.
And I saw Jake Sorrell for corner cutting 5-second time penalties.
Okay, so we now have, as I said, obviously we've got the 9 drivers remaining. Let's quickly run through those drivers and their positions. So Thomas Cook for Alfa Romeo, he's in P10, and let's just quickly remind ourselves of where they started. He started in P15, but obviously we've lost 7 drivers, so no real advantage gained there from him, but he's up in P9, he's in the points, and that's what counts. Jamie Good for Toro Rosso, he's in P8. In P7 is Sean Street. Sean Street was up into 4, but he had to pit after going into the back of who was that? He went into the back. It was Jack Wilson or Ryan Doran. I think it was one of the two. So he's had to come in and pit and get a new front wing. So that's dropped him back into P7. Adrian Rich for Renault is in P6, and I've got to say, Guido, if it stays like this, Renault are going to be picking up some very, very good points this evening, and they might even get ahead of Racing Point in the championship. So that should be be interesting.
Jack's fighting hard, and Adrian does his 360s all over the track, so you know this is what you want.
Cameron Widdowson for Rocket Williams is in P5, so even though his teammate Josh Nichols isn't with us this evening, good points will be accrued for the Rocket Williams team. Jake Sorrell, he's lost his teammate who was doing a fantastic job, Ross Milburn, but he's up into P4, so some really good points there to be gained for them, I think, overall, and that will certainly help them, and it will certainly help Ross in the Drivers' Championship. But the amazing ones, I've got to say, Ryan Doran for Haas, fantastic run from him, up 13 places to P3, absolutely phenomenal. I mean, this has got to be one of his best races, if not ever, certainly this season, isn't it, Guido?
Yeah. Definitely. A great run, and just stuck with it, and you know, I'm just waiting to see what all those penalty points do in the end, and that seems to be a little bit, you know, obviously
an unknown factor. So let's keep it till the end and see what happens.
Yeah.
Jack Wilson for Renault has done a phenomenal job. P12 in the Drivers' Championship, but he's really come alive here at the Hockenhimring, hasn't he, Guido? I mean, this track has really launched him, and I think it's going to give him a tremendous boost for the remainder of the season.
Yeah, and you got tracks similar to this that probably will suit him. So yeah, we'll get a lot of confidence from this.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't agree more. Fantastic run from him.
Here we go, the last lap.
And absolutely tremendous. Great job from Jack Wilson. But Callum White, our race leader, lost his teammate right at the start of the race on the processional lap due to technical difficulties. Assumed that P1 position. He has battled. I mean, he has had... He's not had it easy, has he, Callum? I mean, he's led for probably most of this race, but not all of this race, and he hasn't had it easy.
Yeah, it's been difficult, and as we said in the beginning, he's obviously one of the most competent drivers there is, and he just didn't find his mojo yet, and now it looks like he did, you know.
Yeah,
and when his teammates gets out, and he's there. But we're on the last corner, almost.
Yeah, he's coming round the penultimate corner now, onto the start-finish straight to take the win here. Callum White for Red Bull takes the win here for F1 tonight. Season 2, round 11, the German Grand Prix here at the Hockenhimring. But P2 goes to Jack Wilson in the Renault, and P3 goes to Ryan Doran in the Haas. His first podium finish. What a fantastic result for him, but also for Jack Wilson as well. Great result there for the Renault driver, Jack Wilson, taking that P2 position. He's going to be a very, very happy bunny with that, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. Great result.
So Jack Wilson takes the win. Sorry, Jack Wilson takes second place. Callum White takes the win, and Ryan Doran for Haas is third. Guido, fantastic race. I mean, this was action all the way, and again, I mean, these last few races, they've been so action-packed. It's all happening, and it's really been amazing. I mean, this really bodes well for the remainder of this season, I think.
Yeah, this is what we want to see. This is what keeps the blood pumping. This is a wicked race.
Yeah,
I love this.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't agree more. There are the confirmations. Callum White first, Jack Wilson second, Ryan Doran third, fourth was Jake Sorrell, fifth was Cameron Widdowson for Williams, sixth was Adrian Rich for Renault, Sean Street for McLaren 7, 8 Jamie Good for Toro Rosso, 9 Thomas Cook for Alfa Romeo, DNFs from Ross Milburn, Zach Dejean, Lee Pratt, Richard Williams, Chris Knight, Phil Harris and Ryan Lear. Well, this Thursday, F1 Tonight, NL are racing, but before I cover that, driver of the day, Guido, and we've had a little conflab around this. Ryan Doran did a fantastic job, but I've got to say, to me, Jack Wilson delivered
to me too.
In the quali, delivered in the race, really fought hard for that position. So Jack Wilson takes driver of the day here at the German Grand Prix. This Thursday, 7:30 UK time, 8:30 Central European time, we have F1 Tonight and Netherlands racing their Season 7, Round 11 here at the Hockenhimring. That will be commentated by Dan Hazard and Adrian Rich Stats. Or Adrian Stats Rich, let's get it right.
I think it's Ballerina Rich.
Adrian Ballerina Rich, yeah, absolutely. So they'll be with you this Thursday from 7:30 UK time, 8:30 Central European time. And we will be back next week, won't we, Guido?
Yes, we will.
And next week, for those of you that are wondering, we will be here Tuesday evening as per normal, 7:30 UK time, 8:30 Central European time. And we will be racing. Where are we racing, Guido? Do you know?
No, I don't know. Because you don't know, that's why you ask me.
No. I know full well where we will be, because we will be at Hungary. And that is going to be an awesome track. So Hungary, the Hungaroring next week for us. We look forward to seeing you then. So from us now, it is, it's a good night from me.
And it's a good night for me. Thanks, everybody.
Good night. Take care, everyone. Be home and be safe. Take care. See you soon.